minutes, I will be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Hello?
Yeah. Nita.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you now.
So today we are going to discuss about a slowly changing dimension.
Okay.
There are two variants actually. Two variants in the sense. See, once we can implement this scenario using SCD stage, which comes as one of the processing stage. We can implement the concept of slowly changing dimension using this particular stage, SCD stage, which was part of one of the processing stage. Okay, and there is one more way. Like generally speaking, 50-50 chances are there. Like your manager might accept you to use slowly changing dimension, or he wants you to have a design for implementing slowly changing dimension. And this slowly changing dimension, right, this processing stage came as new from 8.0.1. Earlier you don't have this slowly changing dimension processing stage. But then how you are able to implement that slowly changing dimension concept is by using change capture and change apply stages. Okay, I will explain you at the end. Like first I will explain you how you can use this slowly changing dimension stage, and then I will explain you change capture change apply stage, and then I will explain you this particular way which was used earlier to implement the slowly changing dimension concept. You are able to recall what is slowly changing dimension, right?
Yeah.
Just explain me what are all the types that are there in slowly changing dimension.
The first type is like you update it directly into a table. The second is like you save the history. The second is like you save the history and then have a flag which says this is the current one.
Exactly.
And the third one is like you keep on changing like a queue or not a queue exactly, but
Okay.
you just save the previous history. Like if you have 1, 2, 3 and change, you just remove the first one when you have third.
Yes, exactly. So that is three different types of slowly changing dimension currently used in market. Now, using this particular slowly changing dimension, right? Okay, we are going to implement only type 1 and type 2. Type 3 is not possible with the slowly changing dimension stage. With slowly changing dimension processing stage, this particular type 3 cannot be implemented. Okay,
Okay.
even though this slowly changing dimension stage doesn't help you in implementing type 3, right? You can actually design your own job for implementing type 3. You can actually design your own job. There's no fixed rule that you have to use in this particular format, especially for type 3. You can actually create that particular steps from the client requirement for type 3. Put aside the type 3. For now, we will concentrate only on type 1 and type 2. And remember, the slowly changing dimension stage helps you in completing only SCD type 1 and type 2. No type 3 can be implemented with slowly changing dimension processing stage. And slowly changing dimension processing stage will be helpful in updating only one dimension table at a time. Now, when we are speaking about slowly changing dimension, what is the major, what we say in this particular topic, what forms the center table, our dimension table only, right? You remember what is the difference between fact table and the dimension table?
Not really.
In data warehousing, generally, whatever transactions that happens on day-to-day basis, right, those all comes under fact tables. Like if you take any Airtel business, right, your billing information, the usage of your mobile bills, sorry, the usage of your what we say calls, okay, and the message that you have sent, messages that you have received, the call duration, everything falls under your fact tables. Okay, so whatever transactions that are going to happen within the business is your facts. Whereas dimensions are something like customer address info. Okay, in Airtel, if you take any of the plans, that plan info is a dimension. Okay, see, if your CEO comes into picture, he will be asking like, I want to know from which region max number of calls are being made from a city region. So here, if you see, what are all the dimensions that are there? Location is one of the dimension. Okay, and also he might ask like what group, what age group of the customers are having more number of calls. So that age is also a dimension. So basically customer info, location, date and time, these are all comes under dimension categories. And coming to this fact,
can you come again?
Yes.
Ram, I'm a bit confused there. Like the fact and the ones.
Okay, see, if you observe Airtel's business, right, fact is nothing but in OLTP, whatever day-to-day transactions that are going to happen, those all comes under your fact category. In Airtel business, what would be the fact? Generally speaking, your monthly bills comes under facts. For a particular customer, what are all the transactions might happen? Bill generation on every month. And on daily basis, how many number of calls he has made, how many number of calls he received, maybe if he is in roaming, how many number of messages he has sent, how many number he received in roaming. Okay, these are what is the GPS usage of his mobile. These are all the day-to-day transactions. Monthly transaction are his bill generation. So these all falls under your fact tables. What are all the dimension means? Dimension is nothing but if somebody asks you like what this number corresponds to. In the fact table, what would be there in this Airtel business? Some 250 rupees, let us say monthly bill of a particular person. Okay, when somebody sees the 250 number, they will be asking what is this 250? Okay, so when actually the meaning for that number 250 comes into picture is if you speak from dimension n. Dimension n means you will be saying that this 250 belongs to Ram. Okay, he stays in so and so address. Okay, he is using this particular 99 rupees per month postpaid plan. Okay, these are all the various dimensions that gives meaning for the facts. Okay, now coming to our scenario. Okay, when we say that slowly changing dimension, these dimension values will be getting updated, right? Now in the example I told you, there might be customer info is one of the dimension, date and time is one of the dimensions. See, dimensions are nothing like if you CEO of a company comes, right, he will be asking from the in a year which 3 months actually having lot of calls being made. If he asks that question, we will be able to answer like the last 3 months of a year, like the Christmas month, wherever it falls, right? All the festivals comes there. So in India, last 3 months would be more number of calls. So generally speaking, so there is a dimension involved, which is time dimension. He will be asking like from which location more number of calls you being what we say happening. So their location dimension is involved. Okay, what is the age group of people who are actually making more number of calls? So here age is a dimension. You are able to understand, right? So facts are not at all having any meaning. They are just numbers. They are just measures. Okay, for this particular facts or measures, there is something which identifies them, which is your dimensions. Now coming to the slowly changing dimension concept, a customer might come to Airtel business saying that his address got changed. Let us say from Hyderabad he moved to Tamil Nadu. Okay, he went to Airtel shop and he will be saying that my address till yesterday I stayed in Andhra Pradesh, now I am in Tamil Nadu. So his new address has to be updated, and this why we are calling it as slowly changing dimension. If you observe address, it won't change on daily basis, right? Maybe yearly, twice, thrice, that is a max. Generally speaking, every month if he changes the address, they will disconnect the connection, thinking that he might be a terrorist kind of stuff. So it comes under slowly changing category. Why? Because those dimensions will not get updated that much frequently.
Okay.
You are able to follow me, right? Why we are calling it a slowly changing dimension. Now, for my example, I have taken this particular table structure for dimension. Okay. There are two tables, right? Fact and dimensions. Now, from this scenario, if you remember that star schema and snowflake schema, how the design would be in the star schema. One second.
Star schema, you will have one in the sender and you will have a relationship to all others.
Exactly. So this would be your fact, and this in this way it would be there, right? Dimensions. Let us say this is your dimension. So what relations are there between this particular fact and dimension table here? What relations should be there? Primary key, foreign key relationships only, right?
Okay, yeah.
Here, all the foreign keys would be stored. I told you like fact will be holding only the numbers and foreign keys. Okay. By using this foreign key only, you will be able to communicate to that particular dimension and you will be able to retrieve the record of the customer. So here primary keys would be there. Now from this relationship, which one should get loaded first? Fact or dimension?
Dimensions.
Yes. Why? Because without dimension being loaded, you can't have any foreign key values inside the fact tables. Okay. So remember the order. Dimension should get loaded first compared to your facts. And what about this is star schema? Snowflake. What is the what extra thing would come in Snowflake? Here this dimension further it gets splitted. Further it gets splitted. This dimension part. Okay, what happens? This particular dimension table, one more dimension will come here. Okay, this is sub dimension, and this sub dimension will be linked. Okay, now it will be having some snow kind of structure, so they are calling it a snowflake kind of what is a snowflake schema. Okay, this is how your snowflake looks like. And last question: if there is one more fact, let us say this is the design. Okay, and it is having a common dimension. This is a common dimension, let us say. What is the name of this particular dimension and what is the name of this particular design?
I don't remember that.
This is your confirmed dimension.
Okay.
This is called as your confirmed dimension. Why? Because this dimension is acting like a what is a join between two different star schemas. So this is called as confirmed dimension. And this particular design, this particular entire design is called as galaxy or constellation schema. In real world, this is the schema that would be there. Nobody will go with single fact and multiple dimensions. There would be a lot of facts. So generally speaking, in real world, you will come across only galaxy schema and constellation schema until and then, unless it is some demo project kind of stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Going back to our PPT. So what I'm going to do now, I have created a now I'm going to show you practically one of the type 2 implementation. Okay, type 2 implementation. Type 1 is very much simpler. If you understand type 2, type 1 is just a single setting change, so it would implement type 2. Sorry, type 1 also. Now coming to the type 2, I told you, right, type 2 means what are all the extra columns that comes into picture?
We will have the surrogate key, and
yes,
we will also have the flag which says which is the current one.
Yes. So it will be having a flag which shows the current, and two more columns will be there. Effective start date and effective end date. So those 4 columns will come as an extra columns. So if you observe here, right, see, I have created one dimension. The columns that I have created is department number, department name, surrogate key ID, start date, end date, and flag. I have created this particular structure for the dimension table. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, this department name is there, right? I am going to make that particular column as type 2 column. Okay. When I say type 2 or type 1, okay, that is applicable at the column level. Generally, we will be calling a particular table as type 2 and type 1. That means the table is having column pertaining to type 2 SCD. Okay. Now I am considering department name as type 2 column. That means if tomorrow for the same department number, let us say till yesterday department number 1 corresponds to finance, from tomorrow to the same department number 1 corresponds to accounts. Okay, name got changed. You are able to follow me, right?
Yeah.
This is a weird example. Generally department names will not change, but for your understanding. Okay. Department number, let us say till yesterday department number 1 is called as finance. From tomorrow to it would be called as accounts. That is what the scenario that we are going to see. In this scenario, you should be able to see multiple records. Okay.
Okay.
Do you remember the command for clearing the screen?
CLR.
CLR. No, yeah.
CLER.
I tried CLER, CLER.
CLS.
Maybe. No.
No.
It's okay.
You are in. So you are in SQL Plus, is it? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Command prompt.
Okay. CLR, SCR also I tried.
CLR. That's not the one.
CLR, CR. Clear screen. No, it's not going to work. Anyway, fine. Okay. So you understood how my dimension structure is there, right? This is what the table. What happened? The memory could not be written. Click OK to terminate the program. Okay, fine. No problem. Okay. So you are able to see dim tables dimension, and currently I don't have any records in this one. Okay. So for the initial run, which I am going to, for the no rows selected, so this table is currently empty. So I am going to run for the first time. Before starting this thing, I will be explaining you what are all the settings here. It's not something like we can do it on it is not at all. It is decoupled from the developer's design, this SCD2. There are certain rules that you should follow while using slowly changing dimension. If you don't follow those rules, you will not be able to implement it properly. Now for me, this sequential file is the source. Like I told you, right? This first time when I run, it would be an initial load. Initial load in the sense for everything would be inserts only, right? Everything would be inserts. Why? Because table is empty. Dimension table is completely empty. So for the first time it would be initial load. For the second time I would change the D name for a particular existing department number. So it should actually update the old records and insert the new record. That is what our expectation is. So for this particular design, my source is a sequential file. I will show you the C input scd input.txt. So this is the sequential file that I'm using. So this is a thing that I'm using. This is a .txt file. See, department number 1, 2, 3, 4, and one already it's there as accounts, finance, HR changed and changed. Now what I am going to do, I will just modify this HR. So this is the original file. First I am going for initial load. So what I am going to do in the designer, right? Now you understood the source, right? What is the source? It is a sequential file and it is having 4 records. Okay, each department number has got its own department name. Now why I have used this Oracle Enterprise is, see, I want to compare, right, what are all the things that are there in the target. Here target is my dimension table. Okay, I'm trying to what we say, implement the SCD concept on the dimension table. So I want to see what are all the records that are already there. Then only I can actually update the table, right? So here also I'm going to take the same target as the reference table here for this slowly changing dimension. Okay?
Okay.
See the settings inside this Oracle Enterprise Edition. Read method I have used as table, and table I have used as dim. That's it. Okay, I haven't placed any filters, anything. I am using the same target table as the reference table for this particular slowly changing dimension. And the purpose of using this transform is in Oracle, there is a problem. Problem in the sense, whatever data that you are going to insert into Oracle, right? Internally, it is going to convert that date format into timestamp. Even though you are storing the data in the date format in the Oracle table, Oracle actually converts the date into timestamp. Even though you give like 20 to some 9, 12, 2000 level, if you give internally, it will store it as 9, 12, 2011 and 00:00. It uses the timestamp format. So while reading, right, it's better to convert that particular timestamp into date for our internal operations. So just for converting these start date and end date columns values are there, right? I just wanted to convert it from timestamp to date. So while reading from the Oracle stage, always use timestamp. Okay. While reading from Oracle database, right, always use timestamp. But internal operations, I wanted to do it on the date format. So that's why I have used here a conversion function, that is timestamp to date. I will, once I explain you the transformer stage, I will show you most of the functions also practically. But now remember the timestamp to date function actually converts the timestamp format into date format. Okay, see, if you observe here, timestamp is there. Here I am actually placing the date format. So this function actually converts from timestamp format into date. The only purpose of having transformer is for type conversions from timestamp to date. Okay, I want to use date format within this particular slowly changing dimension. That's why. Now coming to the major part, this is the slowly changing dimension section. Now when you open this particular UI, right, you are able to see fast path 1 of 5. This is meant for fast navigation. That's it. Okay, you can actually navigate using this one stepwise. Now coming to the first one. Always select only the fact link. If you observe, what are the output links that are coming from slowly changing dimension? 2 links, dimension link and output underscore fact link. I actually wanted to, what we say, capture the fact data also. It's my interest. Fact data is, what is the fact data in this case? Okay, fact data stores yours, what we say, foreign key data. Okay, so I wanted to have this, let us say, this foreign key data, or in my fact table also holds, let us say, it is not correct, but let us say there is one more value, like 12, something like that. This 12 needs to be stored in the fact table. Let us say that is the scenario. I can do whatever I want, right? When we speak about concept, it is conceptual only, but when we come to implementation thing, I can do all sorts of nonsense here. I can actually place after accounts, I can use some number, and I can make that number to be stored in the fact table, right? So I just placed an output link. I am feeling like this output link corresponds to a fact link. So whatever data that is being stored in the sequential file, right, later on I will use it to load the fact table. My first step is to load always the dimension table, and I am doing it here directly. I am directly updating the dimension table, and I am collecting whatever data that needs to be updated in the fact in a sequential file. Either I can get the data that corresponds to fact table, or it is my interest. Either I can get some junk data also. It's my interest. Whatever columns are coming from the source, I can pick randomly some of the columns and I can load the data here, and I can use it for my own purpose in the later stages. Okay, but this particular link is not under your control. This has to be followed according to the rule. This particular link, nobody has defined the rules. It is according to your requirement. Like if you want to load the data into fact table, collect all the data corresponds to fact table, and you can use it for loading into fact table. But this one, it is a rule. Okay, I will explain you how this thing comes as a rule and how it loads the dimension table. Without this particular link, right, it is not possible for you to load into a sequential file and later use that sequential file to load into dimension table. It is not possible. So always you have to update directly the Oracle stage using slowly changing dimension. It is not like collecting, first I will collect this particular data into a sequential file and then I will load that sequential file into Oracle stage. Means no, it is not possible. I will tell you why. Okay. Now coming to the slowly changing dimension settings. See here I have selected output underscore fact. That means the link which corresponds to fact needs to be selected here. That is a rule. And then coming to the second one, here see my source input. What is my source input? Only sequential file. And what are all the columns that are there in the sequential file? Just department number and department name, right? Among these, which one is the business key? Department number is the business key. Okay, so department number I have just what we say selected till this particular. I have just drag drop here. I am saying that this particular thing is a business key here in the purpose column. You are able to follow me, right? And I have selected this department name as the type 2. You can actually modify it. If you select this one, you will get a drop down. You can actually modify it. You are able to follow me, right? Here I am defining certain rules. I am defining what is the importance of each column. Here department number is a business key, and coming to department name, it is type 2, and I no need to actually drag from department name to here. Remember that is also a rule. No need to drag. Here I need to identify what are all the columns that comes under business key section. So I am selecting department number as the business key. That's it. Department name is a type 2 column. So this SKID is a surrogate key. Start date is a effective date. Okay, see, you can actually select. These are all the values: surrogate key, business key, type 1, current indicator. Okay, and end date I have selected it at expiration date. This column, this whatever column this data is being held by end date column, right? That corresponds to your expiration date. And flag is my current indicator. So now I have set the purposes of each and every column within this particular table. Clear?
Okay. Hey, 1 second.
Yeah.
I did not start recording that screen.
Okay. This is very, very important. Why? Because after 2 days, if you try this one, right, I will challenge like you will not be able to implement this one properly.
Okay.
You will get across some of the problems, but that problem, it is something like very, very simple problem, but you will miss it. Okay.
Were you recording this, Ram?
No, I am not recording.
Okay.
I think those people might be recording once.
No, they had made me organizer, and I clicked on record, but I did not click on start record. But now I have started it. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far it's clear, right? So far no settings are being shown. Remember, only the settings are in the transformer, where I have used that timestamp to date conversion. That's it. Okay. Now once again coming back to first screen. Okay. The first screen I have selected the fact link, not the dimension link. I have to select the fact link here. And the second step, I am just mapping the business key. Okay. And I am mentioning the purpose of each column here. I am mentioning the purpose of department number column as business key, department name as type 2, this one as surrogate key, this one as effective start date, this one as effective end date, and then flag. Fine?
Yeah.
And this is the second step. Coming to the third step, you remember the surrogate key yesterday I told you, right? The surrogate, here we are having a column called SKID, that is surrogate key. So for that to have the functionality, we need to provide either flat file or database sequencer. That's why I have given the source type as flat file, and I have given this scd_surrogate.txt as the source name. Okay. And I have given the initial value like it should start from 1. Fine. These are all the surrogate key settings. The third step is the surrogate key settings. Why? Because we are actually going to use surrogate key column. Now coming to the fourth step, this is the important step, and this is the final logical step. Here I am once again mapping from the input to the dimension table. If you observe here, see, it is dimension table here. So I am mapping department number corresponds to department number, which is a business key purpose. The purpose of this particular column is business key. I am mapping department number to department number. So on coming to the department name, this particular department name is a type 2 column, and it is having direct mapping. And coming to this SKID, here I have to write the derivation next surrogate key. This is a function I have written. Okay, I told you, right? This particular function. When we right click, you will have that expression editor, select the functions category, and then you will get in the utility functions, right? You will get next surrogate key. Okay, that particular function actually gets your next surrogate key value. Okay, coming to the current date, your system date will be used as your start date. That's what, right? Today, if a customer comes to you and if he changes his department number, and that particular department number will be implemented in your system from today to. That's why I have used current date. And end date. What would be the end date for today's new record? It will always be your default date. We don't know when this particular record might get updated in future, right? So I am giving some future date, some some default value. But only for this end date column, you will be having a extra column called expiration column. Here you need to write down. Okay, you are saying that you are not knowing the future when this particular department name once again will be updated in the future. So you have given default value. But what about yesterday's record's end date? The yesterday's record end date is something like I want to put till yesterday the department number, department name for one remain account, right? Okay. This expiration date, if a record comes once again for department number 1, till yesterday it was account, from today to it is finance, means what would be the thing that will happen? For the yesterday's record, the end date would be yesterday's date. Okay, and for today's new record, end date would be some default value.
Okay.
Any doubts, confusion?
No, that's clear.
Okay. Okay. So this is the important formula. Remember, why am I using this date from Julian day? Generally, I can use current date minus 1, right? Actually, today's date means system date is current date. I can get that function using current date. I can directly use current date minus 1, right? But somehow there is a problem with this particular functionality. That's why first convert this particular date into Julian day. Julian day means I don't exactly remember the date. It is something like some BC date will be there. That is a fixed date. From that particular date till today,
You count the number of days.
Yes, number of days. So that is what Julian day. From date I am calculating first, and then on that particular number of days I am decreasing the number of days by 1, and once again calculating the date from Julian day. That means yesterday's date would come, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that is how I am actually calculating the expiration part. Okay, and coming to this flag is also
So what will happen if we directly minus the date from current date?
with this
Throws
slowly
an
changing
error or-
dimension. No, yeah, it will throw some error. That error also will not be so clear. It gives a what we say, some junk kind of error. So the problem when we browsed with, or when we contacted the IBM people, right, they told like use some conversion functions. We are having some problem with that SCD station. So when you are using with 8.0.1, always use this particular function. Date from Julian day. First convert that current date to days, and then minus that number of days, and then you again convert from days to date. It will work fine. Ideally speaking, current date minus 1 should be sufficient. But here we are having a problem. That's why we are using this function. Generally, tomorrow after this session, right, after 2 or 3 days, you will forget what I told, and you will always write current date minus 1 only. So it would result in problem.
Okay.
Coming to this flag, right, this is purpose is current indicator, and yesterday's record should be noted down as N. That means it has expired, and today's record should get Y. So that is the settings. These are the important settings. Okay. Now going to the fifth step, here you can actually map to the output fact. I told you, right, if you want to load output into a fact table, you can pick whatever columns you require into fact from here. It is your requirement, based on your requirement. Or if your requirement is not loading into fact or building some other sequential file which might be helpful from client to the requirement end, you can actually pick whatever columns you wanted and you can put it here. Fine. There is no rule on this particular aspect. You can actually drag and drop whatever columns you require. Okay. So these are all the settings that comes in this particular slowly changing dimension. And coming to this, you understood those 5 steps, right? Clear, right? And now coming to the dimension link, why you need to use this Oracle stage right away? Why can't you use sequential file and load the data, and then you can use the sequential file for loading into the dimension table? But the reason is, okay, here slowly changing dimension will identify which record needs to be updated and which records needs to be inserted. Accordingly, it will send some markers, some values within it for insertion and updation that cannot be stored in a sequential file. Only Oracle stage can understand those markers, and that too auto-generated mode only you have to use. If you use user-defined, you can't write a query which understands those markers. Okay, here it is a direct query as it seems, but actually internally it is going to use those markers also being sent. That is a rule. Okay, so we should always use auto-generated mode, and always remember that you should use update then insert. Here, from whatever explanation I am giving, it is something like a manual mode of using this particular Oracle Enterprise. But we can't help it. There's no logic involved from the developer end. I told you, right? The developer's knowledge is decoupled from here. This gives you what are all the settings you need to do it. Okay, and if you use insert then update, right, you will get wrong result in the dimension table. Double time inserts will happen. Okay, so always use update then insert mode. Then you are done with your requirement. So you have to select auto-generated, update and insert. Okay. Now that is how you should set up this slowly changing dimension. I will implement it now. Okay. Now what happens? I will just close it and I will open it. Why? Because I don't know somehow if any changes has been done. Again debugging comes into picture. That's why. Okay, coming to the slowly changing dimension 2, I'm just compiling it. Okay. So for the first run, what would be the values in the target? In this dimension table for the first run, what would be the values for this particular input?
It's the first time, right? So you will have everything as start date is equal to today's date and end date would be the default date. And the flag
That's
would
it.
be
And
this.
flags would be all yes only,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Generally speaking, leave about this data stage. How can you identify? See, target table is there. From source, some more records are coming. You need to identify what are all the updates in this particular source data and what are all going to be inserts in this particular source data. How can you proceed? Leave about data stage, just generic discussion. From source, I am getting 10 records, and I need to identify from these 10 records into which category they fall, like update type or insert type or delete type. How can I identify those? Tell me some logic. How can I identify updates?
You'll have to compare the source with the target values,
Hmm.
and then the ones which are not there should be updated, and the ones which are
One,
sorry when
yeah,
you
I
compare
understood
it.
the reverse, yes.
Mhm.
So when we compare, if the ones that are there is found, then we can actually update those, and
Update
the
it.
one which were not there, we can insert those. Okay,
Mhm.
and you will come across, as you told, like it is going to be a comparison. You will also come across some records would be there in the target, but you won't be having in the source, right?
Yeah.
So there you can actually delete those records, right? But in data warehousing, we will not
We
actually
should not be
physically delete.
deleting.
Yes, from in data warehousing, we will not physically delete anything in the target. That is
Mhm.
against the data warehousing practice. So what we are going to have, we are going to have a concept called soft delete.
So delete.
Soft delete means we are seeing now this current indicator. The purpose of current indicator is deletion only. We are saying that this is outdated record by using current indicator as no.
Okay.
That itself is a soft delete way. We are saying that this current indicator is no. That means this record is outdated and nobody is going to use it. Now we will see whether it got updated properly or not. See, department number 1234, accounts, finance, HR changed. SKID, even though I have given to start it as 1, the state file, as I have run multiple times. Yesterday's there is a problem, right? Even though I gave it as 43, sorry, 40 or 42, it haven't taken 43 value, but it is still taking 26. The reason for it is in the row generator, how the row generator works, I need to give the cyclic value, right? I have given the max limit as 25.
Okay.
So that is the region, the max value that is coming out of the row generator is 25.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as tomorrow's value would be greater than 1 by the yesterday's created value, it would be 26. So that
Okay.
is how I got that value as 26. Even though I asked it to create 42 records, the highest value that is going to store in the 42 records is 25 only. So that is how can somebody else join or what? Okay. Okay, so this is the initial run now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this HR is there, right? This HR, I'm going to change it to HR changed. Okay, I'm going to change this particular department name as, earlier it was HR, now I'm going to change the name as HR changed, from HR to HR changed, okay? So what is the expected output out of this particular thing?
You will have that HR value, you will have that updated to new, and the others you will have remain the same, and you'll have a new row inserted.
So see, here I have got the same department number as 3. Why? Because this is a business key, it won't get changed. The uniqueness came because of this SKID. Now both SKID and department number, as I am using them as a composite primary key, I can uniquely recognize this particular record. And now see, HR is there as well as HR changed is there. Okay, and if you see the start date, sorry, the end date value of HR, it shows yesterday's value. Okay, and this one it is showing some default value. Okay, don't worry about this 2008. The reason being my VMware's date is fixed to 2008. Here in the start date and all, you are able to see 10th December 2008, right? So this corresponds to my server date. Here I am using this, see, Wednesday, December 10, 2008. Why? Because the license of this VMware exists up to that date only. Okay.
Okay.
So the end date here got changed to yesterday's date, and for the new inserted record, the end date came as this future, sorry, some default value. And if you see the flag, right, for this one it has been converted to N, and for this it has been inserted as yes. So now it's clear, right, how this SCD has been used to implement a SCD type 2.
But how come the date? Can you go back to the table? So the date is not correct there, right?
Where?
It's going to some other date.
Where?
The end date.
What is the problem?
Oh no. The other end date is a default one, right? That's fine. Okay.
Yes. It would be default date. Now coming to this type 1, right, you just have to make a simple change here. Select that particular purpose as type 1. Okay, and remove these extra columns. No need of this SKID, start date, end date, and flag, right? Just name this one as type 1. That's it. When you run it, it will directly update that particular value. Okay.
Okay.
That is how you are going to implement this slowly changing dimension, and how we are going to implement earlier. See, this slowly changing dimension came as part of 8.0.1. So before that, how people used to implement this particular slowly changing dimension, and it is not a new concept, slowly changing dimension. It is a part and parcel of our data warehousing life. So when without this slowly changing dimension, how we used to do it, we used to have a change capture. There are various ways. See, this is one of the way. Again, this is not a fixed design. In some of the project, they will be using this design. I will tell you one more design where people use, which would be awkward, but the best performance. It would give the best performance. The other design. This one, for your training sake, I am saying earlier they used to have this change capture. Change capture, how it is going to work? From the name itself, it is very clear, like change capture. It is going to change. It is going to capture the change that has come new in this file, right? So here also the reference table would be your target table only. Okay, here also the reference table would be your target table only, and here the transformer is once again used for date conversion only. This change capture, what it does, right? Now whatever data is coming in this particular source file, it is going to compare, as you told, it is going to compare with the target data. Once it compares, right, it is going to identify whether the each record. Now from this particular thing, how it is going to identify? This one is a copy, right? For the second time, when I ran the SCD stage for the second time, this first record is a copy only, right? Why? Because there's no change being done for the first record. It itself came once again. So no need of any insert or delete, something like that, right? It's a copy. It's already there in the target. And this finance is also copy only, right? And this HR changed is a update, right? Why? Because department number 3 is already there, but the department name has been changed. So that is an update. And now what about the fourth one?
Fourth one, it will be a copy, right?
Yes. So in change capture, you are going to have 4 values being generated. Those values are nothing but copy, insert, delete, edit. Okay. For copy, the value that it is going to generate is 0. For for insert it would be 1. For delete it would be 2, and for edit it would be 3. You are able to follow me, right? What change capture is going to do? It is going to compare the source data with the target data, and based on that comparison, it is going to identify the source record type, whether it falls under copy type or update type, or if it's altogether new record which is not present in the target, then it can be identified as an insert. Or you are able to follow me, right? What are all the codes that would be generated? Copy, insert, delete, and edit. But instead of identifying them with alphabets, change capture identifies with values. 0 corresponds to copy, 1 corresponds to insert, 2 corresponds to delete, and 3 corresponds to edit. Fine?
Okay.
Clear? Any doubts?
No.
No doubts, right?
No.
The way you are saying, right, I myself is getting doubt whether you understood or not.
No. That is fine, but I'm just thinking how it's going forward. That's all.
Okay, why I'm not clicking on this one is, I will once again show change capture. There are 3 different categories of this thing. Change capture, change apply as one set it would come. Difference stage is there, compare stage is there. So 3 stages are there. That's why I'm not double clicking this one. I just wanted to show you how this particular SCD being implemented in real world earlier, before this SCD stage came as one of the processing stage. So here, right, this change capture is going to identify the source record category type, like insert, update, delete, and copy. And now what I'm doing in the transformer, right? I know that this change capture is going to give me one more extra column, and that extra column will be having this value of 0, 1, 2, 3. Now what it is going to give me, one extra column will come. That extra output of the change capture would be one extra column. This is the type of the column. Here it would be like 0, values would be 0. This one would be 0, and this is update, right? So it would be, that means edit, that means 3, and change it would be, and copy once again would be 0. This is how I will be getting values. So what I have done in the transformer, I am just splitting. See, this is the source data, this is the extra column that came, change code. Okay, this change code will be having what is the type of that record. Now what I have done, if change code equal to 1, 1 means what is the value? That means it is an insert, right? So I am routing it into one output link, and I am collecting all the update records in the second output link by using this constraint. I told you, right, yesterday constraint. You can directly double click on this one. You will get a constraints window. Here in the constraints window for all the output link. Here link name corresponds to output link name. Insert, update, and delete of. I have written the output link names as those, so that in the insert I wanted to have the source data's change code value should be 1. Should be 3, and should be 2. Based on this, I am collecting those records into output links. Okay. This is how I have split the source data. Okay. And these 3 links, see? Yeah. For the insert, I have given this Oracle Enterprise stage as a target.
No, one question there. If it is update, we will have to. Sorry, if it is insert, we'll have to update one row and then insert another, right? So how does that work?
Sorry, what is that?
So if we say we have to
insert means it is altogether fresh record. So if it is a fresh record, there is no point of updating, right? We are directly going to put that particular in the target, and we are going to create one SCD, that SCD key, surrogate key, and start date would be today's date, and end date would be default date, and current indicator would be S.
Okay, like when you're changing it, when it's an update, then you need another insert as well, right?
No. Oh, okay. I understood. So here I will write update and insert. You are able to understand, right? See, for update record types, right? I will be using update then insert. First update it, and then I will write insert. Okay. 2 things will happen, right? Parallelly. But it would be update then insert type. Okay. For soft delete, for this delete soft, I would be just making update. Yes, update only. You understood, right? How earlier we used to. And there is one more design. How we are going to, without this change capture also we can do it. Okay. We will just use one lookup stage here. I will tell you, just remember what is that particular scenario. After explaining the lookup stages and all, I will once again come back. Okay. Once again come back to that particular scenario. So you understood these 2 scenarios, how we are going to implement slowly changing dimension, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we will be looking into this particular join, merge, and lookup stages now. After this, I will go to change capture and change apply. Now coming to this particular join, merge, lookup, right? Before starting this particular thing, there are a lot of optimization things surrounds this particular join, merge, and lookup thing. lot of optimization things. When that is something like you need to take decision which particular stage needs to be used in what scenario. Okay, scenario is something like, see, you are having a source table. One second. You are having a source table and you are having a stage. Now currently what is, first of all, what is lookup operation? Let us say this is employee table. Okay, employee table will be having employee number and department number as the columns, let us say, and employee name. Okay, and the reference table would be department table. Department table is having the columns as department number and department name. So what is lookup operation? Generally speaking, if your manager asks, like, in the output I should have employee number, employee name. Not able to write it properly, my mouse. Okay, employee name and then department number and then department name, corresponding department name I should get. This is what your lookup operation, right? Generally speaking, it will be most probably lookup will be used for checking the dollar values and all. Okay, or some country codes, like UN means what is the expansion of UN, United Nations, something like that. Okay, now in this example, if my manager asks, like, I wanted to have department name also in the output, I will be getting employee number, department number, employee name and department name in the output. If he asks for that output, what I will do, I will use this department number column to look up on this department table and I will get the corresponding department name in the output. This is the lookup operation, generally speaking. Now this is called your source data and this is your reference data. Okay, now speaking about the optimization, now let us say if from the source you are getting only 10 records. Okay, from the target you are getting 20 lakh records. So from the source, let us say 1 lakh records are coming. First we will follow this approach. Some 1 lakh records are coming from the source. Okay, 1 lakh records are coming, and from the target you are getting some 20 lakh records. So this is the scenario, one scenario. And the other scenario is from the source you are getting just 10 records, and in the target you are, sorry, in the reference you are getting 20 lakh records. Okay, these are the scenarios, let us say. Before starting this concept, right, you just note down some of the difference between join, merge and lookup. There are three stages: join, lookup and merge. Whatever the operation that I have told you, right, from the source employee number, employee name, department number would come. From the reference, department number and department name would come. In the target you can have employee number, employee name, department number and department name. By using department number as the lookup key, we can get the corresponding department name. This is the explanation, and we can achieve this particular output using three stages. Join stage can be used, lookup stage can be used, and merge can be used. So when you ask why are three different stages are there, the thing is one will work here. When you ask that question like why three stages are there, why can't it be only one? The reason is they have created first one version and then they felt like, okay, some optimization issues are coming, so they have provided three different versions. So based on your usability in your particular project, based on the environmental settings in your project, you need to determine which stage exactly applies in your project. Okay, when the lookup operation comes.
Okay.
Now write down the differences between join, lookup and merge. Okay, first when we come to the join, right, input names, there is some naming conventions that should be used with the join, but I will be using in my training, I will be using source and reference data only. But when you have to use technical terminology, right, you make sure that use for join stage use left link and right link and intermediate links. Here reference links, right, it may not be just one, you can actually have multiple reference links. Okay,
can you come again? I didn't get that.
See, here I have used for my example, right, I have used just one source and one reference link. Here it can be multiple reference links as well.
Okay.
Okay, and now how the data would come, this department number should be there, this corresponding, let us say this department number 2 is coming, and this 2 should be there in all the three reference links, then only we'll get output as department name. Okay, you are able to understand me, right? So you can actually have multiple reference tables as well. Now coming to this terminology in join, right, you can have you should call the source link as your left link, and the reference links last link should be called as right link, and all the other links should be called as intermediate links.
Source link is the left link.
Yes, And in the reference links, the last link would be called as right link, and the other reference links would be called as intermediate links.
Last reference link is the right link.
And all the other reference links are called as intermediate links.
Okay.
Okay. In case of lookup stage, right, your source link will be called as primary or input link.
Okay.
In case of lookup stage, your source link would be called as primary link or input link. And there are other names as well for the reference links, right? We call them as reference links or lookup links. In case of lookup stage, the reference links are called as reference links or lookup links.
Okay.
In case of merge stage, okay, the source link is called as master link.
Okay.
And all the reference links would be called as update links.
Okay.
You're able to note down, right, the input naming conventions. Now coming to the join types. Okay, generally speaking, from our SQL knowledge, what this operation can be called as joins only, right? Okay, whatever operation that I have explained you, that is in SQL terminology, we can call it as joins, right?
Yeah.
What are the different types of joins are present?
Left outer join, right outer join, inner join.
Yeah, and full outer join. Okay, so you know the differences between these various categories of joins, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so using join stage, right, we can perform inner join, left outer join, right outer join, as well as full outer join. In case of join stage, we can perform inner join, left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. In case of lookup stage, we can perform only inner join and left outer join. We cannot perform full outer join and right outer join. Okay.
Okay.
In case of lookup, you can perform only inner join and left outer join. In case of merge also, we can perform only inner join and left outer join.
In lookup and merge, we can perform only left outer join
and inner join.
For both lookup and merge, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And remember, when we are speaking about, so all these three stages can perform inner join type, right? So when we are speaking about inner join type, even in inner join category, there are certain differences. So when coming to the join stage, this inner join, right, primary key value, that means whatever department number value is coming, right, it should match with all the secondary tables. That means all the reference links department number value. I told you, right, here if 2 is coming, this 2 should match with department number coming from all the 3 reference links. Generally, you will get output, department name. If any of these links is not having the department number value as 2, then it won't give the output. Okay. This is inner join type in this particular join stage. Coming to this lookup, even for lookup also the same condition. Primary key value should match with all secondary tables. Whereas in merge, right, matching with any of one secondary tables is sufficient. You will get output. You are able to understand, right? If this department number 2 is present in at least one of these links, it is sufficient. You will get output. Whereas in lookup and inner join, right? Sorry, join stage, right? You will not get it. All the 3 links should be having department number equal to 2.
Okay.
Okay. Write down the difference for the inner join category. And coming to the inputs, outputs, and reject link category, you are able to follow me?
Inner join, can you come again?
In the inner join type, right? For the join stage and lookup stage, this whatever is the column that is being used for lookup operation, right? That column value should be present in all the 3 reference links. Here I am, for example, I have used only 3 reference links. So this particular department number column should present in all the 3 reference links. Whereas in merge, right, no need to have this particular value in all the 3 reference links. Either of these particular reference links can have this value, and you will get output in case of merge. Fine?
Yeah.
And coming to the input, output and reject links category. Okay, in case of inner join, left outer join and right outer join for join stage, you can have n inputs and one output.
Okay.
Okay. In case of full outer join in join stage, you will have only two inputs, one source and one reference. That's it, and one output. You are able to follow me?
Full outer join, it's only one source and one
In case
output.
of full outer join, only two links are accepted for input. One of the link would be source, the other link would be reference table. Whereas in inner join, left outer join and right outer join, right, it can have n number of reference links and one source link.
Okay.
Clear?
A reference link and a source link. Is it input and output? How is that?
See, what I'm saying, this join stage is there, right?
Yeah.
For inner join, left outer join and right outer join, one input and n number of reference links can be there.
One input and n
Number of reference links can be there.
One input as in, is it one source?
Yeah, one source and n number of reference links can be there.
Okay.
In case of inner join, left outer join and right outer join, for the join stage I'm speaking. If you change the setting to full outer join, right, only one reference link is accepted. All the reference links will be removed.
Okay.
That means one input and one reference will be accepted in the join stage for full outer join. Fine.
One source
This
and one
particular
reference link. Yep.
yes, this particular join stage will not support rejects in any case.
Okay.
No reject links is being supported by this particular join stage. No rejects will come out. Okay.
Okay.
You are clear, right? So when you are working with join, when you are working with join stage and you are going to work with the inner join, left outer join, right outer join, remember that it can accept n inputs. So n inputs in the sense one source and n number of reference links. Okay, when you are working with full outer join, only two inputs. That means one would be your source and the other one would be reference. That's it. And coming to the lookup, right? There are actually lookup can be operated in two ways. One is normal lookup and the other one is your sparse lookup. I will tell what is sparse lookup. First concentrate on normal lookup. Using normal lookup, I told you like we can perform inner join and left outer join. There is no differences in that one. So in normal join category, you can have n number of inputs. That means one source and n number of reference links. In case of normal lookup, lookup has got two categories. Okay, you can perform normal lookup and sparse lookup. I will tell what is the difference between these two. Okay. Normal lookup again can support inner
one
join,
source and
inner join and left outer join.
Okay.
Fine. And this one can have n number of inputs. That means one source and n number of reference links. Whereas sparse lookup will always accept only two links. That means one source and one reference link.
Okay.
That's it. You are clear, right?
Yeah.
And it supports only one reject link as well. Lookup stage will support one reject link.
Okay.
Clear?
Yep.
And coming to the merge stage, right? It is going to accept n inputs and one output in both inner join as well as left outer join category. That means n inputs means one source and n number of links, n number of reference links will be accepted. And there is no any variance in merge stage, only one variant, that is just merge stage, and it can perform inner join and left outer join. In both the cases, it can accept single input link, that means single source link and n number of reference links. And it supports n minus 1 rejects. That means if there are 4 update links, right, or 4 reference links, 4 reject links it is going to support. Remember, either you cannot have at least one reject link, or you should always go with exact number of update links. Exact number of update links for reject links. If it is a merge stage, right? If it is a merge stage, as there are 3 reference links here, 3 rejects it is going to support. But remember, you should either go with 3 or you shouldn't go with even 1. That is the case. You are able to understand me? When I say n minus 1 reject, that means if here there are 4 reference links, 4 number of reject links it is going to support, apart from one output link. Okay?
No,
output link will always be there.
So when you say the number of links, like n reference links, when there are n reference links, will they support n minus 1 reject links?
No. When I said n links, that means one source link and n minus 1 update links, right?
Okay.
Okay. When I say n input links, that means one would be always you consider one as source link. There cannot be number of more than one number of source links. Only one source link could be there. Reference links could be n minus 1. So as many number of reference links it would support for the reject links. Okay, but the condition is either you should go with exact number of links that are there for update, right? That many number of reject links you should place, or you shouldn't use reject link at all.
Okay.
Clear?
Okay.
No doubts, right? Any confusion?
No, I'm clear.
Okay, and for all these stages, output link is common. Remember that one.
Okay.
So join will not support any reject link. Lookup will support only one reject link, and your merge stage would support n minus 1 reject link. That means it would be equivalent to your number of update links or your reference links. Okay.
Okay.
So far you don't have any doubts, right?
No.
Clear. Now coming to important category, that is input requirements category. Okay, your join stage requires primary data as well as secondary data. Primary data means your source data, secondary data means your reference links data.
Okay.
Okay, both should be sorted and it is mandatory. If you don't sort right, it is not going to abort the job. It would just throw warnings in the director. Okay, and it will give you junk results. Okay, job will not get aborted. It will throw warnings in the director and you will not get expected results. That's it. So your join stage requires both the source data and the reference data to be in sorted manner, and that sorting also should happen on the same key column which is being used for lookup operation. Yeah, or lookup or join operation. That means department number, as I am going to use, everything should be sorted on department number column. And in the lookup stage, right, it is optional. Okay, both the data in primary link and secondary link, it may not be sorted. It is optional. Coming to the merge, right, again it became mandatory. In both the links, data should be in a sorted way.
Okay.
In lookup, no need to sort anything, even the source data or the reference data. Whereas coming to the duplicates, now sorting is done. Now coming to the duplicates, right? If there are duplicates in source data and also in the reference data, no problem. In case of stage, join stage. That means it is acceptable. If there are multiple records, if there are duplicates coming from the source and if there are duplicates coming from the reference link, no problem. It will not pose any problem. It is okay with the join stage. Whereas coming to this lookup stage, right? If there are any duplicates in the primary link, that is your source link, no problem. But if duplicates are there in the secondary link, that means your reference data, then it will throw warnings in the director.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah. Duplicates are allowed in the source and
yes, throws warnings in case of if there are duplicates in the reference links in case of lookup.
Okay.
Coming to the merge stage, right? In case of if there are duplicates in case of primary link, right? It will throw warnings. Reverse for lookup.
Okay.
Okay, warnings would be thrown if there are duplicates in primary link, but it's okay if there are duplicates in reference links for merge stage. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. Now major things comes into picture, which is treatment of unmatched records.
1 second. Like when you say that warnings are thrown for duplicates, so how does it actually behave? Like does it give us proper results or is it going to?
Yeah, you will get proper results only. I will tell you that there is a real-time scenario which happened for me only, and I got all junk values because of a small setting, because of these duplicate values in the history tables. See, when you are dealing with the reference table as history tables, right? History tables means type 2 tables. You will come across this scenario many number of times, and your complete data would be what we say complete. You will result in junk data. after this lookup operation. I will tell you that scenario once we are dealing with the lookup stage. You just note down those questions, that's it. Okay. I will explain you from the performance tuning end as well for these particular 3 stages. Why? Because see, even though we are having discussion on many number of stages, everything won't be used at all in your real-time work. There will be handful of stages only which will be used in your daily day-to-day designing. All the other, like see, we are going to discuss about encode, decode, compress, decompress. Okay, those are all waste stages actually. We will not at all use it in any of the job designing phases. But as part of training, I will explain you for the settings and all. But remember, those will not be used. The stages which would be used extensively is these stages: surrogate key, your SCD stage, and the design that I have explained, the other design using the change capture. And then these join, merge, lookup. In this, merge is not at all useful. Nobody uses merge. Remove that one. Join and lookup is very much used. Okay. Without these two, you can't even design a single job completely. I will tell when you have to prefer join and when you have to prefer lookup and all after this particular differences part. And coming to the treatment of unmatched records, this is a major category. You just note down on a notepad. Okay, see, when you are speaking about treatment of unmatched records, when I say unmatched records, that means what it is going to do. Now I told join stage supports inner join, right? Okay, inner join means if department number is going to come as 3 and that particular department number is not there in my in my reference link, then what would happen? Inner join means if there is match, only those records should be sent to target, right? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
For inner join, how the operation would be, whatever key column that is coming from the source, and if it is able to find that key column in the reference link, then only that operation would succeed, and all the other records should be rejected itself, right? They will not even move to target, right? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So when I'm saying that particular join stage is going to work in inner join mode, okay. So whatever data that is coming within the source, some of the records might be dropped, right?
Okay.
So in inner join, some of the records might be dropped. You are able to follow me?
Yeah.
And the same source record. Now I'm speaking about the primary data. When I say primary, this is the data I'm speaking about. Okay. I'm speaking only from the primary data end. Okay. Primary means source data. I'm not speaking about reference data. Whatever data that is coming from the source data, right? If it finds a match, it would go to the target. If it doesn't find a match, it would be dropped. That means it is performing inner join, right?
Yeah.
And coming to the when I say that source data, even though there is a mismatch, it is going to target, then what sort of join it is?
Source data, even though it's going, it's outer join.
Left outer join, right?
Left outer join.
Yes, that means source data, whatever may be the case, even though it match, it doesn't match, it is going to the target. Then I can confirm that it is going to perform left outer join there. So just look this thing in a reverse way. If I select inner join, some of the records from the source might get dropped based on the matching criteria. If I select left outer join, everything from the source moves to the target. That is what my explanation here. Fine. I'm coming to the reference data. Now I am going to speak about reference data. Now when I speak about reference data, what can be done? Reference data, if I want to move it to the target, what sort of join will help me?
Reference data.
Irrespective of the source data match, my reference data should move to the target. That is your right outer join, right?
Right outer join.
So when I use right outer join, data would be moved to the target from the reference link. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
If I say this particular data is getting dropped from the reference link, that means I am actually performing inner join, right? Clear? Okay, that is what about your join stage. coming to, and remember here join is not at all supporting any rejects. That's why either the data should move to the target or it should get dropped. Only two scenarios are there. Either the data would be dropped or it would be moved to the target. If it moves to the target, that means either it is performing left outer join or right outer join. If it is going to drop some of the data, it falls under inner join category. Now for the lookup stage. Lookup stage, actually it supports one reference link. And remember that reference link always, one reject link, and that reject link always holds data only from the primary source.
Okay.
Okay. And in case of merge, right, it is going to support n-1 rejections. So that means it is going to hold data coming from n-1, that all the update links. You are able to follow me? Or you have got lost somewhere?
No. I'm fine.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
Now coming to the lookup part, right? The primary data, what might be the category? Either it get dropped in case of inner join. Okay.
Either it gets dropped or
in case of inner join, or it can move to target in case of left outer join. Okay. Or if it gets dropped, I can actually either drop it or I can actually ask it to be moved to the reject link also. Why? Because reject link supports primary data. Clear? So I can actually move primary data to the reject as well. Fine? These are the various links that the data can be moved into from the primary data. Coming to the reference data. Okay. What would be the case for in case of reject data? Will right outer join be supported in case of lookup? No. So there is no point of moving it to the target. Here only thing that gets support is drop. That means inner join. No reject also. Why? Because lookup will not support reject links. Clear?
okay.
Getting confused?
Lookup? No, I'm just lookup does not. It supports reject links, right?
It supports reject links, and that reject link supports data only from the primary link, not from the reference links.
Okay.
Okay. In case of merge, it's reverse. In case of merge, right, there would be n-1 rejects. All these reject links will support data from only reference links. Whatever data being rejected from the reference link will be loaded into your reject links, not from the primary source. Okay.
Okay.
Coming to the merge part. Okay. Here also only left outer join and inner join is possible, and the rejected link will not be used. You will not hold any data coming from the primary source. So what are all the categories it could have? Drop and then target. Drop means inner, and this one is target, right?
Target for left outer.
Whereas these MEDS, reference data, it also not supports any right outer join. So no point of moving it to the target. Only drop is being supported. That means inner join.
Or into the reject links.
And reject links. Yes, exactly. So you are able to get right these differences. This is important. That's why this is very much without this particular question, nobody will be move through the interviews and all. Maybe it is not much helpful for you, but for freshers, this particular differences sheet will help them to get through the interviews. Okay. Coming to the memory usage, this would be helpful for you actually. Memory usage, right? This memory usage would be a bit light compared to your lookup stage. Why we call it as light, I will explain you. Just note down this particular thing would be light in case of join. In case of lookup, it would be heavy. In case of merge, again it is light. Okay. And last and final thing, key column names. That means department name. Here we are using department number as the column for performing this join or lookup operation, right? This department number name should be same from the source and from the reference links. The name, the column name, right? It should be same. Column name should be same coming from the source and coming from the reference link. Column name should be same. Denum, both should have the same names in case of join stage. Whereas lookup, there is no need to have same column name. It can be of different column names also. Here you can use D and O. There from the reference link you can have it as DNAME. Sorry, DNUMBER, D number.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Any doubts in this particular thing?
No.
Okay. In case of merge also it is mandatory. Okay. In case of merge also the column name should be mandatory. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Somebody is calling.
Sure.
Sorry, Nita. Hello. Hello, Nita. Hello.
Yes, yes, Ram, I'm here. Hello,
Sorry.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
No problem.
So when I say memory usage as light, right, for join, and heavy when I say for lookup, why I am saying this light and heavy concepts, right? This lookup, what it does now, lookup what it is going to do. Let's see. Lookup what it is going to do, right? From source, let us say lookup stage is there, and here you are going to get your reference data. And this source you are getting, let us say 1 lakh records, and from reference, let us say you are getting 8 lakh records. Okay. What happens? This lookup tries to get all these 8 lakh records into RAM, your local memory.
Okay.
Okay. It first moves all the, or dumps all these 8 lakh records into your RAM, and then it performs the lookup operation. Imagine if there are 1 crore records, what would be the situation? Your lookup stage itself fails. Why? Because for every stage, right, in data stage, it would have some limited memory being assigned. It is not something like if your RAM is 8 GB, your one stage, one lookup stage will be using 8 GB. If you remember, you are having a configuration file. In that configuration file, you are giving the scratch memory space and all. Okay, and even that full scratch memory space will not be allocated for each and every stage. Okay, even stage level also there would be some limitation. Max size that a stage can use, that limitation also will be there. You are able to follow me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, your RAM is 8 GB, let us say, but you can't. It is not mandatory that 8 GB will be used for the scratch disk. In the configuration file, you will be giving some folder path. In whatever folder size is there, right, that would be used for your scratch memory. Okay, generally speaking, it would be equivalent with your original physical RAM size, but there is a way that you can actually control that size also. That's what my point here. Now, when we say that scratch disk is used for loading the data, it is not that lookup stage will be using complete 8 GB RAM. Even internally, each stage is having a limitation from the memory usage end. Like lookup stage can use only some 200 MB. Okay, then whatever records that are going to come from the reference link, right, up to 200 MB only it can store. After that, your lookup stage will fail. Eventually, your job will fail. Okay, you are able to assess what we say the problem that you might come across when you use lookup stage, right?
Yeah.
And coming to this particular join stage, right? Join will not bring the reference data into RAM. Instead, it brings the data in a hash algorithm format. It uses hash algorithm internally. It creates indexes based on the hash algorithm and stores the data in a hard disk, not in the reference scratch disk. And as it has created indexes using the hash algorithm, the join operation would be a bit, what we say, IO operations and all would be less, and it is going to perform a bit faster compared to your lookup. Why? Because it is going to create indexes, right, using that hash algorithm, and the data will be stored in your hard disk. So whenever the operations need to be performed, that lookup operation or join operation need to be performed, it brings the exact values that needs to be used for that lookup operation. How it is going to retrieve the exact values is like indexes. It has created indexes using the hashing algorithm. Fine.
Okay.
That is the reason we call that join stage memory usage is light. Why? Because it is not going to use much of your RAM space. Whereas this lookup always dumps whatever data is coming from the source, right? It is going to dump it into your RAM. When you are going to dump the data into the RAM, it is going to kill the memory space, and then your stage gets aborted because of insufficient space, and then eventually your job gets aborted. Okay, you are able to understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts in this particular thing when I say light and heavy?
No, so it works the same for merge as well?
Yes, as join stage. Now what happens when you need, when we are speaking about this join and lookup, right? This is very much important what I'm saying now. When tomorrow if you get a text spec from your manager asking you to implement a job, okay, and there in the text spec there would be something like look up on this particular table using this particular key and get one particular column as output. You are able to understand the statement, right? Look up on this particular table using a particular lookup key and get a particular column name as the output. That is what the statement they have done. When you look at that particular statement, first thing that comes to your mind is you should use a lookup stage, but don't think in that way. They are speaking something about lookup operation, and they have never told you to use a lookup stage. Lookup operation can be done using a join stage or a lookup stage. How you have to decide, right, which one will work in your scenario? Get a count star of your reference table data.
Okay.
If it exceeds more than 5 lakh or something like that, don't use that particular lookup stage. Use joiner only.
So like
why? Because if more than 5 lakh records are there, yeah, tell me.
So we keep a limit of 5 lakhs,
and that is not what we say mandatory. It depends on the environment that you need to check out. Just to create a dummy job which actually hits a particular table and brings as many number of records as possible, okay, and try to load it. At one point it fails, then you can figure out what is the max limit that this lookup stage can withhold. In my environment, in my project environment, 5 lakh record, after that it will, my lookup will fail. You are able to understand, right? This reference data, whatever is coming from the reference table, if in my project, if it exceeds 5 lakh records, lookup will fail. There's no point of using lookup stage itself. If you identify that particular thing after executing, by the time you clicked on that execute button, right, you might have completed, you might have done with your development duration. So unnecessary pressure will come from the manager asking you to replace all lookups with joins. So again, it would be a problem. So from the moment you get text specs, you identify what are all the source tables and reference tables, get a count of all the table records, and then you decide in this particular stage what I need to go ahead with, lookup or join. Okay, when you need to go with lookup, if this reference data is very less, okay, reference data is very less in the sense it should be comparable. Like 5 lakh is the max limit that your environment could withhold. Okay, go with 4 lakhs. Up to 4 lakhs, you can use this particular lookup stage. Okay, and if it is going to exceed 4 lakhs, right, always use your joiner. Okay, lookup operation, lookup would be a bit faster compared to join. So that's why generally people use lookup. If the size of data is a bit less, go with lookup. If size is more, here anyway lookup is going to fail. There's no point of performance there. Your job should run fine. Though in that case, go with your join stage.
Okay.
Okay, and one more thing, from the source, let us say here in this example, I gave an example like from source you are getting 1 lakh records. Okay, from source you are getting 1 lakh records, and from the reference you are getting 4 lakh records. In this case, you are going to use lookup, right? Now let us say from the source you are getting only 10 records every time.
Okay.
Okay. So now the difference is something very vast. The comparable difference up to 100 times, right? It is comparable difference. Let us say here 4 lakhs means here 40,000. Let us say this is the max source data that it is coming. In that case, don't go with a normal lookup. Go with sparse lookup. What is the purpose of having sparse lookup is, now I told, right, this lookup, normal lookup, what it will do, it will dump all these 4 lakh records into the local memory. Sparse lookup, what it does, instead of dumping the data into the RAM, what it does, it forms queries from each and every record coming from the source, and it hits the reference memory. What is my end target? I should get D name corresponding to D number, right? My end purpose is to get D name corresponding to D number.
When to use a sparse lookup? Because that was
when we are going to use sparse lookup is if the source data is 100 times less than the reference data.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, when you go with normal lookup, if your reference tables data is within your environment's threshold limit, then you can go with lookup operation, lookup stage. Okay, now once again we are deciphering. In lookup also 2 modes are there, right? Either you can go with normal lookup or sparse lookup. Which one needs to be used means when the source data is 100 times less than the reference data, go with sparse lookup. When the source data is more than this particular ratio, which I told 100 times, right? Then go with normal lookup. What is the difference between normal lookup and sparse lookup is, normal lookup is going to dump all the reference data into the RAM, whereas sparse lookup, right? Okay. Whereas this sparse lookup, right? I will just show you. For every record coming from the source, it forms a query and it hits the reference table and gets only the value which is required. It will not dump the value from this. This is a reference link, right? Okay, generally speaking, whatever data is there, it should dump into your local RAM. But in Sparse Lookup, what it does, right? Okay, here in the ODBC enterprise stage itself, we are actually going to perform the Sparse Lookup. And remember, this Sparse Lookup setting cannot be done in the lookup stage. It will be done only in your in your database stage. Okay. Somebody asked where will be this setting, Sparse Lookup and normal lookup, where the setting would be, means tell them it will be not be. Generally people, the moment I ask what is where this setting would be there, Sparse Lookup means, people will directly say that it is there in lookup stage. No, the lookup type, right, Sparse Lookup or normal lookup, it would be there in your reference links database stage only. And it is not applicable for other types like sequential file. If you use for reference link, it will not work. Only for database stages only this Sparse Lookup will be used. And coming to the Sparse Lookup, see the query that I have formed, select dname from department, where department number is equal to orchestrate.department number. When I use this orchestrate.department number, that means for each and every record coming within the source, right, from that particular first record, the department number will be picked. That means here orchestrate corresponds to the data moving within the link from the source link. Okay, for each and every record, it is going to pick department number. And now how it would be see something like select dname from department, where department number equal to 2. That's it. So we are not actually dumping the data. We are actually firing a query on your reference table, and you will get dname out of it corresponding to 2, and I will pass it into the lookup operation. See here in the lookup how I have placed this one for the Sparse Lookup. You understood the difference between Sparse Lookup and normal lookup?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes. But it's the same stage, right? And you just keep the property as sparse or the abnormal one.
Yes. Here in the reference link, if I change it to normal, right? Done. No Sparse Lookup thing and all will be used if I change it to normal. Okay. But the setting won't be there in the lookup stage. It would be there here in your reference date. And that too, it should be there if it is of only database type, then only you will get the Sparse Lookup operation. For other types, there is no point of speaking about Sparse Lookup itself. Why? Because Sparse Lookup actually fires a query on the database. If it is not of database type, then there is no point of speaking about Sparse Lookup. And if you observe the lookup, right, you are not going to have any settings here. Directly see, no even mappings also haven't happened. This is the source data and this is your reference data. Even no mappings are shown. Directly data has been moved into the target. I will show you clearly how it is going to perform. You understood what is the difference between Sparse Lookup and normal lookup, right?
Yeah.
Now what I'm going to do, I will show you first inner join. I will just show you how this join works. I am using source as one sequential file and reference link as one sequential file. Okay. Here
when you use joiner, do we have to use the sort operation in between, or is it like we put the data in sorted way?
If you don't put it, right, it will automatically do it. It will not even wait for you to put that join operation. The thing is, it will not do the join operation on the key that you are fixing. So that's why actually better to place on what key you need to perform the join operation. See, this is the data that I am using as a source, okay? And my lookup key would be department number. Using this department number, I will get department date, sorry, department name. Okay, this is my reference data. Just show you the reference data as well. Okay, department number and department name are there in the reference. Okay, now coming to the joiner properties. This is the join stage. Okay. Now see, here I am going to mention what are all the keys I can use for performing this particular lookup operation. Here I have used department number. I can actually mention whether it is case sensitive or not. I can actually mention multiple keys as well. Join operation can be done on multiple keys also, right? So I can actually mention multiple keys. Here I am using only one key, that is department number. See, this is the place where I can mention whether it is inner join or full outer join or left outer join or right outer join. Okay. Now I am performing inner join. Clear? In the partition technique, right? I have used hash partitioning. Okay, in the partition technique, in join stage, it's better always use hash partitioning. And where I am performing this hash partitioning? On this particular department number column. I am also performing the sort. See? Okay, I am actually performing the sort as well, and that sort is ascending sort. Okay.
Okay.
And this is about input. Coming to the output tab, in the columns tab, sorry, in this input tab, right? This is the source data, and this is the reference data. Even for the reference data also I have selected hash. Generally people what they will do the mistake, right? Here they will just put all the settings for the input link, but they will forget to place this hash partitioning technique for the reference link. Go to the reference link. Here also you need to put the same department number as hash partitioning and do the same sorting, ascending. Okay. Without this you will not get proper output. Now in the output tab I am getting employee ID, employee name, salary, department name, and extra column as department name. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
1 second. So I'm just running this one. So job ran successfully. Just we'll see the output, and I got the department name as well. Okay. That is how my inner join would be performed, and left outer join also the same way. Okay. I will make sure that some of the things from the left hand side moves into the target, even though there is no matching record from the reference link. See, I am just mentioning here. So it is full outer join type I have mentioned here. Okay. Whatever may be the join, you can just check it here. And now this example actually corresponds to full outer join. Okay, I'm just compiling it and I'm running it. So there won't be any extra settings in join stage. That's it. Okay. Lookup is a bit different. You don't find it directly like it is a left outer join or inner join and all. You need to make sure that it is a inner join or left outer join. I will tell you how to do it. Join is very straightforward. Even a merge also will be straightforward, but lookup is a bit different. You are getting from source only 5, but in the target you are able to see 7. The reason being some of the records are coming from your reference data. See? Clear? For employee name it got empty. For employee ID, for number types you are getting zeros. For for varchar types you are getting it as empties. Okay.
Okay.
Remember this difference also. For employee, that number types you are getting as 0. For the other you are getting it as empty. That thing also should be remembered. Okay, coming to the lookup part. I told you, right, lookup will support one reject here, whereas in join you don't have any rejects concept. Lookup will hold one reject is supported. This is the symbol for lookup, and this one will support one reject, and reject will be will hold data coming from the source data, not from the reference. Okay. So everything remains the same once again, the same source and reference I have used. In the lookup I will show you. Okay, this is normal lookup we are speaking about. Why I am not saying it as sparse lookup is we are not using any database stage for reference link. Okay, this is normal lookup. See, I have just dragged this particular department number column here. I just selected this one, I just dragged here. That's it. Okay, once I dragged this one to here, right, what happened? I got one beautiful line here. Okay, it shows that department number is mapped. That means on this particular department number column we are actually performing this particular lookup operation. I haven't yet decided whether it is a inner join or left out join. I'm just saying department number is used from the source link and from the reference link as the lookup key. Okay, see here, key expression link employee dot department number is equal to department number. Fine.
Okay.
Clear? Okay, you are clear, right?
Yep.
This is how I am going to perform the normal lookup. Okay, but I haven't yet decided whether it is the inner join or left out join. Where I can decide whether it is a, see, I wanted to get output department name, right? I just dragged this department name into the output. Okay. Now where I can decide whether it is an inner join or left outer join is, see, this chain symbol is there, right? Click on that one. You will be getting this lookup stage conditions window. Okay, this is not constraints window. In transformer you will get constraints window. In lookup you will get lookup stage conditions window. Okay, here see, link department is the, here link department is your reference link. Okay, link name is link department, and here I have mentioned a condition. See, link employee dot department number should be greater than or equal to 10, and employee dot department number should be less than 40. I am writing a condition that this link department data should be restricted between 10 and 40. Okay, I am writing that from the reference link table, right? I don't want all the columns, all the records. I just want records whose department number value is greater than 10 and less than 40. Okay, if condition is not met, if this condition is not met, what to do? Just select continue. That means, see, what are all the values that are there here? Continue, drop, fail, and reject. When you use drop, that means if a record coming from the reference table, and if it is not meeting this condition that I have written, what to do with that record? That is what the meaning of this condition not met. Okay, either I can drop the record, or I can either fail the job itself, saying that I got one record which doesn't satisfy this condition, so I am failing the job itself. I can abort the job using this fail option. Either I can send this reject data. I can actually reject the data also. And what about this continue?
You continue to the next row, is it?
Yes. You don't bother about what is coming. You just go with the next thing. Okay. That is what the meaning of this one. If you observe, I have written data only from the source perspective. Even though I am writing this particular thing on the link underscore department reference data link, I am actually writing all the conditions from the employee dot department number perspective, from the source data perspective. Okay. This is what your conditions not met thing. And coming to the lookup failure, this is the one which decides whether you are going to deal with inner join or left outer join. If you use lookup failure as drop, that means inner join, right? Clear? I told you, right, in that notepad I have wrote like, if you are going to drop the data, that means it is an inner join. If you select this one, you are going to perform an inner join. If you perform continue, that means you are actually performing left outer join. Okay, if you use fail, that means you are actually asking the job to get aborted if you don't find a match. Okay, if you use reject, right, I want that particular record which doesn't have match in the reject link. That is what you are saying.
Okay.
Got it? The same way, condition if it doesn't meet, right, you can actually move that particular record into this particular, you can proceed with the next one, or you can actually reject it into the output, or drop, or you can fail it. Okay. This is
Okay.
how you will be deciding whether the join type is inner join or left outer join. Clear? No doubts,
Okay.
right? So far,
No.
no doubts, right?
No. That's fine.
So I have explained you normal lookup, and in that normal lookup, how can you perform? Okay, inner join and left outer join I have showed you. There is one more concept called range lookup. See here, range.
Mm-hmm.
What
So
is the
how did you
purpose
get
of
that
range?
range?
Yeah, I will show you. I'll show you practically. What is the purpose of range? Before speaking about this, we will speak about what is the purpose of range. Now,
Okay.
in what scenario we will use range? You see, there is a student table. Okay, he has got one particular marks in a particular subject. Okay,
Okay.
saying that his marks is some 50. Okay, but nowadays there is one more table called grade table. Based on the number of marks he got, we can assign the grade, right? Whether he falls under A grade, B grade, C grade, and all. So when I say A grade, his marks should be between 85 to 100. When I
Mm-hmm.
say B grade, his marks should be between 75 to 85. C grade means from 45 to 55, something like
Okay.
that. So
Mm-hmm.
we will look up on this particular grades table to see if this 50 falls under which range. Based on that particular range, right, we are going to pick that particular grade. You are able to understand? Not exactly?
Yes, Ram. Yes, Ram.
Okay. So that is where I require a range. Now see, now this is a source table, and if I say this here, if I say this particular salary as the range column, okay, I need to mention here range expression. If I double click here, I will be asked to what we say, write this particular range condition where this salary column should lie. See, input column employee salary should be greater than or equal to, if there is a column from the reference data, let us say some higher salary and lower salary, let us say that is the value that is. I will show you practically this one. I just wanted to understand. Now I wanted to see the salary being fallen in some range, and based on that particular salary component, I will assign whether he belongs to first band, second band, third band, and all. Okay, in companies. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Yes, Ram.
When I have selected the salary column and when I have clicked on this range and when I double clicked this key expression column, I got this window. In this window, if you observe, the salary should lie between. That means your salary should be greater than or equal to range lookup column. Let us say there are two more columns in this department table. Okay, highest salary and lowest salary. I will be writing like employee salary should be greater than lowest salary and its salary should be less than highest salary. In this range, you just see whether where my component falls and you can assign the band name. That is how it works. I will show you practically this way. So you understood normal lookup as well as range lookup from theoretical end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just going to compile. Here I have used a continue. That means left outer join I am going to perform. And that too I have written a condition also. That means employee data should be greater than 10 and less than 40. So I'm going to perform a left outer join in this case. See, some of the department names not came. That means it is left outer join. Fine.
Yes, Ram.
Okay, that is how we will be performing the left outer join by moving that conditions, lookup stage conditions window you just open and select that failure, that failure option, lookup failure option, either from drop. If it is drop, it means inner join. If it is of continue, that would be left outer join. Continue means move it to the target. That is what the meaning. And coming to the range lookup. Before going to the range lookup, right, you understood how we are going to perform the range lookup. So far it's fine. Now there is a concept called range lookup file set also in the file stages, right? If you remember, I have already explained it to you.
Mm-hmm.
In the file category, I explained this lookup file set, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this lookup file set, you can either prepare a normal lookup file set or a range lookup file set. Just open this lookup file set. This is the source data that is coming. Inside this range lookup, see, Sorry, in this lookup file set, there is a property called range lookup. Yes, when I select this yes, I can actually select this lower bound or upper bound. When I select this lower bound or upper bound, that means whatever source data coming from the source, right, it should lie between two columns from the reference data. Okay, clear? Any doubts?
No.
There are actually, one second, I will just have a recap for you. Now when I delete this, see, there are three things coming. When I use lower bound and upper bound, that means whatever data is coming from the source, that means that marks column coming from the source should lie between two columns from the reference, and based on that condition only we are going to retrieve the grade, right? Marks should lie between highest marks column and the lowest marks column. Then only based on that condition only we are going to retrieve the this particular value grade, right? So in that scenario, here lookup file set will be always created on what part? Source part or reference part? Lookup file set.
Lookup file set will be created on the reference, like.
Yes, reference part. So from the reference part, you can actually write vice versa condition in the range. Vice versa condition in the sense that marks can lie between two columns from the reference, or one column from reference can actually lie between two columns from the source as well. You can write in both the directions. So if you want to write like one column from the source should lie between two columns from the reference, use this lower bound and upper bound. If you want to write a condition like one column from the reference should lie between two columns from the source, you have to use bounded column. Okay. Now I have used lower bound and upper bound. Why I'm using lower bound and upper bound is I know that I'm going to perform a range lookup in the lookup stage. So if I use this particular range lookup, right, sorry, this particular lower bound or upper bound, right, internally indexes would be created on these particular columns and the performance would be very much faster compared to normal range lookup. Okay. So I have just created a lookup file set here. I will run it once. So my lookup file set would be created for the range lookup. Okay, lookup file set is created. Now I am using the created range lookup in this particular lookup operation. If you observe inside this lookup, right, as this is created for range lookup, I will be placing a range lookup condition. See, I have selected that from the source data marks should lie between marks high and marks low column. Okay, I have selected it as range and now I have written the key expression. See, source data's marks should be greater than or equal to marks low from the reference link, and you are able to understand this condition what I wrote, right?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes. But I
Any
still
doubt?
don't understand how it. I don't understand like how that comes as range there.
Where? Here? No, see here actually now from the source as well as from the target, both the ends you are having this range column, right? Now what what my intention is, my marks column is coming from the source. And now I want to ensure that my target is to write a here I have used the full name. Generally speaking, it should be something like grade. Okay, based on marks you will get grade, right? Not full name. But for my example, I have written it as full name. Practically speaking, it should be grade. Now what I'm going to write, this marks column coming from the source should lie between, okay, marks high column and marks low column. When we say grade, right, if a person is having 50 marks and if I ask what grade he falls in, how are you able to say that he falls under B grade or C grade? How you are able to say that? Why? Because there is a table which will be having the values like from 75 to 100 A grade. Okay, if a person gets 75 marks to 100 marks, he falls under A grade. 50 to 75, he falls under B grade. Okay, so for that particular output, I want to write that marks should fall between marks high and marks low. Okay, that means 50 marks should fall.
That part is clear. What I am asking is, this is the same as a lookup stage, right?
Yes.
So in the previous example, we did not have this column as range there.
Where? Where we don't have? The lookup example? It is there, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And
in the reference we won't get it. Why? Because in the reference you should explicitly mention whether it is range lookup or not by using that lookup file set.
Okay.
But here you can write it. One direction is allowed. The other direction is not allowed here. The other direction is allowed only in case of lookup file set.
Okay.
Why? Because lookup file set can be created for the other direction, but here you don't have that option.
Okay.
Okay, so for the source data one direction, that means marks can lie between two different upper and higher columns. You can write it here. So that is why you are able to see range, and here you are not able to see it. Okay.
Okay.
When you are using the lookup file set, there you will be able to see range lookup being done on both the direction. Why? Because lookup file set allows you to create that particular style of what you say, range. You are able to follow me?
Yeah.
Now you just double click it. You have to select that input source marks column, and you write a condition like greater than or equal to marks low from the reference, and again marks column less than or equal to high. So that condition would be shown here in the expression section. Okay, that is how you should write your range part. Fine. And based on this particular operation, I am getting one output from the reference data, that is full name. Okay, you can actually get grade, but I am interested with full name. You have any doubt in this one? I will run it anyway. You don't have any doubts, right, in this particular part? See, full name I got it, right? Based on the range lookup condition, I got this full name.
Okay.
Okay, I have written that this policy number should lie between some of the things in this particular thing. Okay, policy number should be matched, and then my marks column should lie between these two. Okay, I have written both the conditions, range lookup as well as equality condition. For equality condition, I will not get this particular mapping here if I am using a lookup file set. Remember.
Okay.
If you generally in normal lookup, if I drag drop here, right, you will get one beautiful line here like this. But here you won't get it. But even now you are performing the normal lookup plus range lookup here. In case of lookup file set, you will not see that one, that line for normal lookup. Okay, but eventually it is being performed normal lookup as well. Why? Because in the lookup file set, right, you are going to put that condition for that key also. See, I will show you. See, range lookup, yes. Sorry, that particular condition is being placed here. Here. Where is that one? Policy number. Yeah, key. This you have checked it, right? Here also. Fine.
Okay.
No doubts, right? So far in this lookup. So I have explained you how to set inner join, left outer join in normal lookup. I have explained you how to work with range lookup. Okay. And sparse lookup you understood theoretically. And now remember, the only thing you need to perform in sparse lookup is applicable only if you are working with reference data as a database. Okay. And remember, data from the normal lookup will be dumped into RAM, whereas in sparse lookup data will not be brought from the reference data into RAM. Instead, we have for each and every record coming from the source, okay, we will form a SQL query and we will hit the database and we will get whatever we require into the output. Okay, for that the syntax is in the ODBC stage only we will be writing completely as parts, and then write the select statement with orchestrate. This is very much important. Nobody will be able to help you once you are going to work in future. Okay, why? Because this will not be shown in books. Okay, you have to browse the Google or you have to get it from the guide that IBM people will be giving. Why? Because generally if you download something from Google, if you open those particular PDFs, right, you will not be able to see this sparse lookup conditions. Okay, use this orchestrate keyword to identify the record coming in the link. That means your source data. Okay. You have to write in this way. You can actually write complete query as you like you can put joins, everything. This is a very simple query, direct query I have written. Fine. Now we will see whether we are going to get that particular department name in the output or not by using this lookup file set. So here data is not brought into my local memory. Only through queries I used to perform. But the only thing is source data should be 1:100 ratio. Source data should be very, very less compared to your reference data. In that case only use sparse lookup. See, I got the D name. Okay. So that is how your sparse lookup works. Okay. It's merge. Before going to merge, I told you there is one more way that you can use in SCD implementation using lookup, right? Okay. Let us say you are getting the source data. Okay. And here let us say you have used the target table. Here you are using left outer join. When you use left outer join for whatever matching records, okay, you will be getting exact values.
Okay.
For unmatched records, you will get empties, right? And one of the key, you make sure that you will get empty for unmatched records, and in the transformer you collect all the empty records having that particular column as empty, and you can directly insert that, right? You are able to understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the lookup, perform left outer join. When you perform left outer join on the target, okay, source data for update records means match, they will match actually on that particular key. Once they match, you route it to one output, okay, for update action, okay. And in left outer join, if no match is found, that means they are insert records. When what would be the output from the left outer join if they are not finding match? They would get empty for varchar type and 0 for number type. Okay, that particular column. Okay, use that particular column. If it is number, use in the transformer constraint like that column should have 0. Column, if it is having 0, route it into the insert output link. So you can insert. So you are able to perform insertion as well as updation using the lookup, right? That SCD you can implement it. There are a lot more ways actually. There is one more way. Instead of lookup, right, you can actually collect all these direct source records, business key values. Okay, directly try to put one temp table. In the temp table, right, you directly put that particular records, whatever business keys are coming from the source, put it in a temp table. In the temp table, what you do, delete all those records in the target. Use those business keys from the temp table, delete all those records with the business values in the target. Now whatever is coming from here, they can be directly inserted, right? But this is applicable if it is type 1.
Okay.
You are able to understand, right?
Yeah.
The last design which I explained can be used only for type 1. That means you just collect all the SOLN keys, put it into a temp table, use the temp table, delete the target records, okay, and then directly insert the records. It would be type 1. Why you can directly, without this temp table concept, you can directly update this target table, right, for the business keys. The reason is sometimes update action takes more time than deletion and insertion operation.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that is the reason why we go with that sort of design. Okay, that is about your lookup thing. Going to the merge. So the same source and reference links are used. Okay, and now what we are going to do, I am just showing you the properties from the merge. Lookup is very much important. You can actually do a lot of stuff with that one. Now coming to the merge, right? See, here also I can mention what key on which I need to perform this particular operation. Okay, I told you, right, merge doesn't have any different ways, only two ways. Either it can perform inner join and left outer join. See, this is the only thing that can be used. Unmatched masters mode. If it is master means source data, right? If I'm going to drop it, it is inner join. If I am going to keep those particular source data, whatever may be the matching condition, you can actually move it to the target, then it is left outer join.
Okay.
If you are going to drop, it is inner join. If you are going to keep the source data, whatever may be the condition, then it is left outer join. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. And here you can mention as many number of keys as you can use. Case sensitive. Null position means, see, if there are nulls coming from the source, right? Either you can put them at the last, or you can consider nulls to be the highest value compared to other business values.
Okay.
If there are nulls in this department number, how you have to treat those nulls? Either you have, if you sort the nulls, right? Nulls doesn't have any value. So you want to put the nulls at the end or at the beginning. That is what the meaning of this nulls position. Okay, sorting, do you require to sort it based on EBCDIC or ASCII? That is what the meaning of this one. Okay, and warn and reject updates. Okay, update links are there, right? These update links for this merge thing are there, right? If they are rejected, any of the, you know that this merge is going to support as many number of reference links are there, right? If there are two reference links, two reject links it will support.
Okay.
And the condition is either you have to go with two reject links or no reject links at all. That is the condition. Okay. So when I use warn on reject updates equal to true, that means if any update links data is being rejected, please send a warning in the director. That is what the meaning of this one. And the other one, warn on unmatched masters. That means if there is any unmatched data coming from the masters, right? And if that for that particular unmatched data, you just send a warning in the director. That is what the meaning of this one. Nothing more than this. You are able to understand, right?
Yep.
Any doubts in match?
No. It's clear.
Only very simple setting, straightforward setting merge is just drop or keep. Drop means inner join, keep means left outer join. Just compiling and running, that's it. We are done with slowly changing dimension. We are done with join, merge and lookup. I will be starting with this change capture, change apply, difference and compare. Okay?
Okay.
You want any break?
I am fine. If you want, we can have.
Okay. Sure. So you got this department name as the output in the merge stage, fine. Now I have performed the inner join there.
Okay.
That is the reason, even though there are five rows coming from the source in the target. So those are the settings from the merge end. Now just give me 2 minutes break. Now I will just come back and teach you this change capture, change apply and difference and this one. Okay.
Okay.
Just after 2 minutes I will connect back. Thanks. Nita. Hello. Hello, Nita.
Yes, Ram, I'm here.
Yeah, fine. So now we are going to start with change capture. We will discuss change cap, change apply, difference and compare stages, and we will wind up for today.
Okay.
Okay.
Ram, I'll not be able to make it for tomorrow.
Okay,
Probably
no
we
problem.
can have the same time next Saturday also. So that should be fine, right?
Yeah, no problem. Day after tomorrow, my Monday, you will be able to connect, right?
Your Monday morning is, yeah.
Sunday night for you.
Sunday night I should be able to connect.
Okay, so my Monday morning I will be connecting, so that for the complete 5 days we will have the discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Oh, 1 second. You told about Saturday, right? Next Saturday, right? Next Saturday it would be 17th. No. Next Saturday actually I have got that this team outing.
Okay.
Okay, so Saturday morning I should be able to connect. Saturday morning my time.
I don't think I'll be able to because it's Friday night for me, right?
Yes, Saturday morning I can connect, or else on Sunday morning or Sunday evening also I can connect.
Okay, I'm not sure about that this time because now today anyway I'm sitting for this, so I have plans next time. Probably I'll let you know by Thursday.
Yeah, sure.
That should be fine, right?
Yes. Okay then, we will proceed with this one.
We should be able to complete the major parts over this week itself, right?
All the parallel jobs will be done. Mostly it will be done. See, every day if we sit even for 2 hours on weekdays, 10 hours will be done. Okay, and just 4 hours will be pending. 4 hours means for my sequence jobs. Then I will give you video tutorials. Actually, whatever is promised out of 40 hours would be done, but it would be completed only the parallel jobs part. In the Excel sheet, whatever content I have given, actually it would last to 60 hours. I told this Baswa to remove some of the topic, but they have explicitly sent it. So commitment is done, right? So I will send you the video tutorials for the server jobs and all.
Okay.
Okay. In your free time, you can have it. It will have at least 12 to 13 hours. Okay. So anyway, for your work and all, you require parallel jobs. So parallel jobs, I will complete 100%. And server jobs and all, those are also very well explained. You can directly go through that in your free time. Okay. Even it will cover more than what is there in the Excel sheet.
Okay.
The
And
server jobs category. Yeah, tell me.
No, I was just thinking out of these parallel jobs, are there anything complex again, like apart from this change capture?
Change capture is not so complex actually.
Okay, so is there anything which is so complex which will take time?
Nothing. Only that SCD which I have explained, right? That is a bit tricky. Actually, people will not be able to complete that particular stage usage actually.
Okay.
So apart from that, everything can be done very much easily. Just you need to know the importance of each stage. If some requirement comes, right, if you know what each stage is used for, you will be able to provide lot many designs for your manager, so that they will be able to pick the what we say appropriate one. Now coming to this change capture. See, change capture, and there are actually 3 different stages: change capture, difference stage, and compare stage. All these 3 will be used to just compare 2 data sets. One would be the input data set and the another would be the reference data set. Now if you remember in the SCD, I have explained, right, the change capture, the reference data would be target data and the source data would be the input data. Okay, these 2 would be compared and you will identify from the source data which one is copy, which one is insert, which one is delete or edit records, right? So similarly, even there are other stages as well, like change capture, difference stage and compare stage. Okay, difference stage and compare stage also works on 2 different data sets. One would be the source data set, the another one would be the reference data set, and they also will give similar kind of output. Like they will identify from the source data whether it is 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 means copy, 1 means insert, D means delete and all. Okay, they will give the same output. Like one extra column would come, that extra column would determine what sort of type it is. it will give the same way, but the difference is change capture generally will not be used alone. It comes with a pair called change apply. Okay, it gives out one code which would be understood by change apply, and it will directly apply the changes on it. Okay, this change capture and change apply comes as a pair, whereas difference and not compare, there's no need of any pairs and all. You can actually use the difference stage just to see whether two data sets are same or not. Okay, in case of compare, the output
capture that we did for the SCD, we didn't have the change apply, right?
No, we haven't used, but generally that's what I'm saying, right? There is no restriction on you to use it, but for theoretically you should go ahead with change capture plus change apply. The insertion part I told, right, there you can actually use this change apply. No need to use that much complex what we say coding and all in Oracle stage. You can directly use the change apply stage to do it for you. By looking into 0, 1, 2 codes, it will directly apply those changes on the target database. Okay. It comes as a pair. That is the only difference. If you once you look into the output, right, you will get doubt like why we are having two different stages. There are lot many things like that in data stage which can see. Transformer can be used to perform almost all of the operations like modify. There is a stage called modify processing stage. The purpose of the modify processing stage is to handle the nulls, changing the data types of the column, changing the name of the column. These are all the various activities that you do using a modify stage. You can also do it with the transformer stage, right? So what is the purpose of having modify there? Modify is meant for a particular purpose, whereas transformer is a generic one. You can actually implement it from the developer end by writing it. Okay, so it would be slower compared to your modifications. That is what the differences that you get. Generally speaking, there is no purpose of modify stage. Whatever you do with modify, right, you can do it with the transformer itself. No need of modify stage itself. Then why they have introduced modify? Okay, it is something like a person in house doing all the activities by himself, or if there are dedicated persons for all these activities, how the performance would be. That is what the difference I can say. Okay. You are able to understand, right?
Yeah.
Even the sorting thing, even the filter thing, everything can be implemented just by using a transformer itself. There is no need of all those dedicated stages like modify, sort stage, filter stage, okay, funnel stage. There are many stages. Okay, those stages can be implemented using transformer itself. Even then they are going with specific stages. The reason being specific stages will always give you good performance. Okay, coming to the change capture part. See, I am using here naming convention I changed. Like the naming convention is after data and before data. One second. Okay, I am using after data and before data. Now this is sequential file after data and this is sequential file before data. And I'm giving these particular inputs to the I'm giving to this particular change capture. Now in the change capture, if you see, what are all the keys that I have used?
Employee ID and employee name.
Employee ID and the employee name. Based on these two keys, I wanted to figure out whether the data is the same or edit or what we say, or a delete or insert. Okay, these are key values. If you one second. This thing. Okay. So now I'm so in the SCD example, I have used this change capture, right? There, what I have used is department number. Okay, department number and the department name has been used for identifying these whether these particular records when we compare with the target, we need to identify whether these two are copies or edited versions, right? Similarly, here also you need to mention whether this you need to mention employee ID and the employee name as the keys. Based on these two, it will compare with the target. That means the before data sets record would be compared with after data sets record for these employee ID and employee name. If both are same, it identify it as copy, and if both are different, then they will consider both are different, then they will consider it as insert. If one is same and the other is different, then it is considered an update. Okay, when both are considered as update, right, then it is going, this particular excluded values means when it finds two things as copy, okay, That means in the target as well as in the source, both employee ID and employee name is there in a single record. Then both are identified as copy, right? Even then, if you want to check further whether it is an update, you can actually mention here column names. Here, if you can mention something like salary, okay, salary is different from the source and from the target, you can consider this particular thing as an update record. You're able to follow me, right? Even though employee ID and employee name matched both in the source and the target, okay, even then, that means when both are matched, that is a copy record, right? Even then, you want to check whether it is an update record. How you can check is use this particular exclude as value equal to salary. Now salary components also will be checked. If both are same, then it will be considered as a what we say, this copy, or if both are different, it will be considered as an update. You got it, right? No?
No, what exactly does this change capture do? Why is that for?
One second. After.txt, before.txt. Okay. So these are the sets that I'm going to, one second. No. Okay, this is after data means new data that is coming. Before data means already this data is present in the target. Okay. So this before data is always used as the reference link. Okay, in SCD, what is my purpose? To identify, how can I identify the update records in SCD? You only told like I need to compare the source records with the target records. So when I want to compare with target records, that means the target data should be used as a reference. That means before data should be used as a reference, and this is the new data that is coming in. Okay, now for this particular first record, for the first record coming from the after.txt file, that means new record, see, employee ID and employee name are there, 1000 and ABC, 1000 ABC, both are being identified, both are copy records, right? You are able to understand, right? One second. I will just compile it and I will run it and I will show you. What is this thing is doing? One second.
Okay.
Just mapping. Okay, so what I'm trying to do in this particular transformer stage, right? See, I have created one output, change output, and the derivation section of this change output column is, okay, if this change capture is going to identify, okay, the incoming record as copy, what would be the code for copy? I told you, like, for copy it would be 0. Okay, for insert it would be 1. Okay, for delete it would be 2. Okay, and for update it would be 3, right? Okay, so that extra column which is coming from the change capture, if I get a value of 0, I am actually putting it as copy. I am writing it in the transformer. Whatever value is coming as 0 in the change code column, I am manually writing it. Like, people can't understand if 0, 1, 2, 3 comes, right? So I just wanted to write a word like copy or insert and delete. I have just written that if loop here. If the change code that is coming from the change capture stage is 0, then I wanted to put copy in this particular column. If the code is coming as 1, I will be putting it as insert in the target column, something like that. Okay, I will show you. 1 second. I will run it and I will show you the result, otherwise you will get confused. So generally speaking, you just observe here what are all the records that you find as updates and what are all the records that you find as inserts here.
The first one is
Both employee ID and employee name both are being used, right, for the comparison purpose. Okay, 1000 and ABC, are there the 1000 and ABC? Yes, it's there. Coming to the 1003 and MNO, it's there, but I will show you there will be a small difference. Okay, I will show you. It's there, right? 1003 and MNO also is there. Coming to 1002 and DEF, it's there. Okay. Coming to 1004 and XYZ, it's not there. It's a new one. It's an insert. Generally, from the preliminary observation, this 1000 and ABC is there in the before also, so it should be copy. 1003, no need to check about other columns. Why? Because we are not bothered about other column values. We gave there the key values as employee ID and employee name only. Okay, so you forget about the other column values. We are not going to compare complete record columns. Only 2 columns from the record I am comparing, employee ID and employee name. So 1000 and ABC, it's there. 1003 and MNO, it's there, but result would be different. I will show you how it will be different. I will explain you. And 1002 DEF, again it's there. Okay, and 1004 and XYZ, it's not there. So it is an insert record. And 1005 and RST, it's also not there. It is also an insert record.
okay.
And if you observe here, 1001 PQR 25,000, it is a delete record, right? Why? Because this 1001 and all is not there from the source. So we got the output. You are able to understand, right, what I'm saying from the 2 columns here?
Yeah.
See, this is the incoming data. 1000 ABC, 10,000 is the salary, and department number is 10. Okay, look into the before data. 1000 is there, ABC is there. So both we wrote query only on employee ID and employee name. 1000 and ABC. It has been identified as copy. Right? Both are having. Now coming to the 1001, which was there from the before data. 1001 part itself is not there here, right? From the source. So it has been identified as a delete. Okay?
Okay.
And coming to the 1002. 1002 DEF. Okay, 30,000 and 40. Everything is there. So it has been identified as copy. Now coming to the 1003 MNO. Okay. See, here the salary values got changed. Okay. Check only for employee ID and employee name. Other columns you leave out from the key end. Now compare the values. Now 1003 and MNO are there, and here 20,000 is there, here 1000 is there, right?
Okay.
Put it as update. And coming to the 1004, it's not at all there, so it is an insert. Okay. Coming to the 1005, it is also an insert. You are able to understand how it is going to depict. Now, for key values, I have used employee ID and employee name, and for identifying the updates, I have used these columns. Okay. Now, I felt like you are able to follow me, right? Hello? Neeta?
Hello. Yes, Ram.
So employee ID and
Can you hear me,
employee ID and employee name I have used for comparison, like for identifying. But for finding out the updations, I have used the salary and department number column. Now I felt like I want to use only salary column. I don't want department number column. So for that I need to specify the setting here like department number. In this exclude is there, right? Excluded values. Okay. Here you can actually select a department number. Okay. Once you select this department number, right? This particular department number column will not be used for finding out the updations. You understood what I told?
Okay.
See, employee ID and employee name are used as keys for identifying the copies. Once you felt like copies are being identified, then you want to find out whether that particular copy record is an update record or copy record, right?
Mm-hmm.
For identifying copy record or update record, you need to use values.
Mm-hmm.
That means salary column or department number column should be same if it has to be identified as a copy.
Mm-hmm.
If any of these column values changes, right, then it can be identified as an update record. That means employee ID and employee name both are having the same values, but there is a difference in salary and department number, so it has to be identified as a department column. Sorry, department record. Sorry, update record, right?
Okay.
No?
It should be an update record.
See, 1000 ABC is there right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so it is a copy record, but I am not leaving it here. I wanted to see the other columns also to identify whether it is a perfectly copy or a update record.
Mm-hmm.
So by using employee ID and employee name, I was able to find out the record here. Okay, 1000 and ABC record is there. Now I want to identify whether it is a copy or update. I am comparing salary and department number here.
Okay.
1010 is there, so it is a perfect copy.
Mm-hmm.
Now see this particular 1003. 1003 and MNO is there. Okay, now I want to see whether it is a perfect copy or update. Okay, I am seeing for the salary and department number, but here salary is different.
Mm-hmm. Then it should be
That
an
means
update.
it is a update record.
Yeah.
You are able to follow me, right? This 1004 and 1005 is completely new record. Now they are identified as insert. Now the problem is in this 1003 record, right? I have identified this as update by looking into what column, salary column and department number column, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't want to consider department number column to identify the updates. So how can I do that? I have to mention here. Exclude this particular department number column as value column.
Uh-huh.
Got it?
Yep.
That is what the meaning of this one. And remember, I told you, right, this insert and update and all, actually you will not get it like this. This one is an insert and all. You will get like, after comparison, you will get value like 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah.
For that 0, 1, 2, 3, I have written in the transformer for 0 means copy and all in the output.
Okay.
By using that if part. So actually Datastage gave you control to modify this value as well. If you feel like for copy I don't want 0, I want 4, then go here. Okay. Go to the options one. Here see copy code, delete code, edit code, insert code is there, right? Just open the copy code. By default it would be 0. If you want to put some other value, put it here, 45 or all. Got it, right?
Yep.
That is how you should do it. And change mode, explicit keys, all are values. See, when you use this particular mode, this is very important one. When you say that explicit keys, all are values, that means explicitly I will be mentioning what are all the columns considered as keys, and all the other columns can be considered as values. Value columns means which were meant for updation, identifying the updation fields. Okay, explicitly I have mentioned here keys, and all the other columns are considered as value columns only. But here I have again said that in that all the value columns, one of it I am excluding it, department number. Okay, here other settings are there, like all keys and explicit values. That means I no need to mention any keys now. All the columns are keys only. Okay, explicitly I will mention what are all the values that I can take. See, now see, all are keys. Okay, now I want to mention the values, that means value columns here, names. If I use that all keys and explicit values. Okay. You're able to follow me, right? I am saying that all are keys only. I will explicitly mention what you can consider as a value column. I am saying that, okay? And that is how you should differentiate this one. And coming to the explicit keys and values, that means I only will type what are all keys columns, and I only will type what are all the value columns. That is what you are saying.
Okay.
Got it? Any doubt?
No, that's clear.
And coming to the drop output for copy, okay, that means if you are going to identify a particular combination as copy record, right, do you want to move it to the output, or you have to drop it there itself? Okay, if I use this particular setting as true, right, in the output I will not see the records corresponding to copy category. Okay, similarly for delete, edit and insert. If I use for drop output for insert equal to true, I won't see any insert category records in the output of the changing after stage. When I use this log statistics equal to true, that means in the output you will get 10% is done, 20% is done, 30% is done. And there is one more thing, code column name. When I use this particular stage, see, by default it is using the output column name as change code. If you want something like Nita, you can put it. So Nita column will be having that values as 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay?
Okay.
That is what this particular stage. In the output, by default, you will get this Nita value. See, I have given the column name here as Nita. Okay. That is how this change capture works. So in the output, you will get 0, 1, 2, 3, and those codes will actually be understood by this particular change apply. Sorry, once again I came back here. So once this output is coming right from the change capture, what is the purpose of change apply? What it will do? It will take the input as coming from the change capture stage. It identifies the input. Okay, what would be the output from change capture stage? It would say that each record of what category, either it is a copy, insert, delete and all, it will use the before data set, and it would exactly make the modifications on the after data set. That means, before data set, it would make modifications on the before data set, and it would convert complete before data set into after data set. Okay, you are able to identify, you are able to understand, right? What is the purpose of change apply? Change capture would give you what category this record falls into, whether it is a copy record or insert or update. Okay, now these changes will be implemented on the before data. Okay, and it would move into the target. Like it is something like before data would be now completely converted into after data. Now you might ask me a question, why these things, everything is nonsense? I can directly truncate this one and I can directly load this particular data, right? No need of any before. You are able to understand me, right? I told you change apply stage is helpful in converting before data into after data. Okay, so I can directly dump this after data into the target, right? Why again these unnecessary operations? So there will be additional things which will be provided to you by this. 1 second. Anita. Hello, Nita?
Yes, Ram, I'm here.
Okay, so actually my question is, if you are going to convert this before data into after data, okay, in the target, right? What is the purpose of having change apply? You can directly dump that one into the target, but the scenario is something like in the target, you will be having lot of records and you no need to delete. That physical deletion is not required, only soft delete is required. Okay, in that case, right, you can actually control the execution of this change apply stage. It is not something like directly it will take input and it will not. It is not something like it will not accept any inputs from the developer and it will directly convert the before data into after data. No, it will not do that. The max that it can do is it can directly convert it, but it gives you additional flexibilities to the developer to control the execution of this change apply. See, there are almost all the options that are present here. Now again, you can change the execution order of this change apply. You can get whatever data, whatever expected output you wanted. Now see, here also you can mention these keys, but remember, it's better if you can. No, this is change apply stage. Or? One second, yeah. Yes. Okay. By default, this particular change apply stage, right? It completely depends on this particular column. By default, it will use whatever column name is being sent from the change capture stage. If you have given their Nita, you explicitly have to give this particular thing. This is the most important property that you should take care of in the change apply stage. Apart from this, all the other discussion remains the same. The same excluded values, keys, everything remains the same. Okay. But if you forget to, if you have mentioned Nita there and if you doesn't rename it here, right, code column name, you will not get the expected output. Okay. And this one, right, check value columns and delete. If you set it to true, right, if there is any delete operation coming, right, it will not directly delete it. It will ensure that it will check the value columns as well. If you mention here some more value columns, let us say, okay, some more values here. What is this? Explicit keys and explicit all values, right? Okay. If I mention like all keys and explicit values, this is the control which was given to the developer so that he can actually modify the original execution of your change apply stage. Whatever change capture has given, right, it won't blindly take everything and blindly convert the before data into after data. In between, actually, you can change the execution as well by using these controls. If you use this one, you can actually control the delete operation now, right? See, now if I use explicit keys and explicit values, it asks me to provide what are all the value columns. And if I use this particular check value columns and delete, if delete operation comes from change capture, right, it will see for the column values that I have mentioned here in the values category. And based on that particular values category only, it will delete. Otherwise, it won't delete. So for everything, additional flexibility has been provided to the developer to control the flow of change apply. Okay. Remember, change capture and change apply comes as a pair. Okay. And this particular code column name should always match with the column name coming from the change capture. If you don't give this column name, you are gone. It won't produce proper results. Okay. 1 second. You got any doubts from change capture and change apply, Nita? Nita?
No, I think it's clear.
Okay, 1 second. Before going to the next topic, I just wanted to confirm what I have used here. Okay. Salary and department number.
So which are the scenarios that we will be using this change capture and change apply apart from that?
Generally speaking, I haven't used even once this change capture in real time. Generally, whatever change capture is going to do, right, we will be doing it in our own implementation style. Instead of believing this change capture to send 0, 1, 2, 3, we can actually do it with lookup, right? I told you that scenario. I can actually perform that left outer join, and if everything matches, I will get proper values in extra column. If doesn't match, I will get empty. Based on that empty, I will filter out which one is insert, which one is update, and I will use it. Generally speaking, change capture comes into picture when you are dealing with slowly changing dimensions only. Other than that scenario, we won't use it. Okay. For comparing the data sets and all, we won't use change capture itself. We will use only difference stage. Okay. Okay. It's fine now. We will go with the next example. capture change apply, compare and difference. Yes. This difference stage, right, it is going to perform a record by record comparison. Okay, when you are having this source, that means before and after data set, right, each record from the after data set would be compared with each record from the before data set. Okay, I have sorted the data and I have placed it here. One second. Just we will see what is the where this before and after has been placed. See output before. Okay, same things might be used, I think. Okay. And in 8.0.1, compare stage will not perform as expected. Okay.
Okay.
In 8.0.1, compare won't run as expected. In 8.5, it has been fixed. So if you are having that 8.5 version in Office, right, whatever settings I'm going to show you, it would run very much properly in 8.5. In 8.0.1, it is not fixed and it will give you erroneous result. Not completely, but up to 20% erroneous result you will get. Okay. At the end, right, I will give you one PDF file. Okay, that PDF will be having the description about all the stages and with examples. Okay, in that example you will see how that change compares, that particular compare stage will actually give the output, but you won't get similar kind of output when you use it in this particular thing. Okay, in this particular 8.0.1. Okay, that is a fix that needs to be provided by IBM. Now, and in transformer also mod function won't work in this particular 8.0.1 version, even in 8.1 also. Those things actually you will use mod and you will expect proper result, but in output you won't get. Once you are not getting output, right, we will leave about that particular thing and we will think only from the logic and we will execute it in database and we will see we are getting proper result. Why are we not getting from the stage? But when you browse, you will be surprised. By the time you browse, right, the thought, right, browsing, when it comes, you might have already wasted some 8 to 10 hours. Actually, it happened in my case only. I have implemented everything with the mod. I haven't got the result as expected. I was worried why it is not giving. When I typed the same query in the database, it's giving me whatever result I wanted. But in the transformer, I'm not getting proper result. So when I browsed, I came to know that mod function won't work in 8.1.
Okay.
Indian people actually kills us sometimes. Okay. So now we will see what is the output that we got from the difference. Before opening the different stage properties, right, we will first analyze how it is going to give us the output, then we will see the properties in the different stage. Okay, 1000 ABC, 1010 is there, difference is 0. Okay, and compare the other one. Sorry, I told earlier about that compare, right, that is applicable for different stage. Whatever I told you for compare stage, that is applicable for different stage. I told you that the compare won't work properly, right? No, difference won't work properly. This is the output that you get, erroneous output. This won't, this is not acceptable. See what zeros, do we have zeros here in any of these things? So that is the problem with this one. And okay, there's no need to look into this particular output. I will just explain the properties of this different stage. Now coming to this difference keys, right, based on what keys you are going to compare two data sets. This is the keys. Okay, once you found that these two keys are matching, how are you going to find out the updates? These are the values, value columns. Okay, all non-key columns are values. That means whatever keys that you are not mentioning here, right, if you make it to true, there is no need for mentioning you once again value columns. Why? Because you are saying that apart from whatever columns that I have mentioned here as keys, all the other columns can be considered as value columns. That is the meaning of this one. Okay. Whatever you are seeing the settings in that change capture, right, everything would be repeated here. The naming convention it just changes. Okay. Now coming to the copy code, see there you are also having the copy code as 0. Okay, and delete as 2. Drop output for copy. If you identify copy, right, it is going to drop that one if you set it to true. That means in the output you won't get records corresponding to copy type. Okay. Similarly for edit code, insert code, log statistics, tolerate unsorted inputs. This is the only thing that is different from the change capture. It is saying that if there are any unsorted data in the inputs, right, don't abort the job. It's okay. You continue with the operation. That is what we are saying. With the tolerate unsorted inputs equal to true. When we say it false, right, it aborts the job.
Okay.
Okay. That is what the differences between change capture and this particular difference stage. Anything which you haven't understood from these different stage properties? There we are having keys. Here also we are having keys. There we are having value columns. Here also we are having value columns. Here we are saying that either you can mention all the values explicitly, or you can say that apart from the key columns that I have mentioned here, all the others are value columns by using this property. And there also you have got that copy code as 0. If you want, you can change it to some other code here. If you put it as 45, from next onwards, if it identify copy record, it will give output as 45. Okay. Similarly for the delete code, if you identify it for the copy records, if it identify, if you set it to true, it will not move it to the target. It will just drop those records. The output, you will get this particular extra column called difference code. That's it. Now there you got change underscore code as the output column name. You are getting difference code as the output column. That's it. There you are asked to change. There you are given the flexibility to change the name of the column. Here you are not given that flexibility. That's it. Got it?
Yep.
No doubts in this particular thing, right? Anything which you find any weird here, which was not being explained, something like that? No, right?
No, I think everything is fine.
Yes. Why? Because everything would be same. And coming to this compare, the difference between different stage and compare stage is something like compare stage actually performs this comparison between data sets. What is a column basis, not on the record by record basis. Okay, column by column comparison would be used in the compare stage. Okay, we will see what I have used here in the before stage. See output before.txt, and so far you don't have any doubts from this discussion, right? After I had a break of 5 minutes, whatever I have started the discussion, you understood, right?
Yeah.
You don't have any doubts regarding these change capture, change apply, difference and compare. Remember that difference is having a problem from the IBM. They need to, they have provided fix in the later versions. Okay, but the output will be different. The output will not be different in the sense it would be similar to your change capture output only. Okay.
Okay.
And now I am going to output it to peak. Okay. What I am going to do, I am just going to compile it. First we will see the output, then we will discuss about the properties of the compare. So as I have used peak, right, output would be sent to the the director.
Okay.
So this is the first one, result 0, the first one, first employee ID 1000, first employee name ABC. You are able to understand the first concept here, right? First means the source one, second means the reference one. 1 second. This is the output that we got from the peak. Okay. Okay, I will explain you how this output can be interpreted now. Just go to this compare stage before interpreting the output. In the compare stage, right? First one, abort and difference. That means if there is any difference between these two records from the before and after, at least one difference is there, abort the job. That is the meaning of this one. Okay. You are able to understand, right?
Okay.
You are getting this before data and after data set, right? If you found any difference between before and after data set, you are asking it to abort the job itself. Abort and difference, if you set it to true, after comparison, if it comes to know that there is a difference between these two files, it will abort the job for us.
Okay.
That is the meaning of abort on difference. Equals value. That means if two records are identified as equal, okay, we are going to assign it as 0.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the record in this first output, first input data set is equal to the record value in the second input data set, right? Then we are going to say that it is equal records. So we are going to assign it as 0.
Okay.
Now we are saying that the first means that after data set is considered as first, before data set is considered as second. Now if the after data set is having some empty value in one of the record, okay, that means we are saying that that particular value output would be -2. I will show you how we can interpret in the output. Just understand from the property and don't think from the output end. Think that there is an empty record. That means no values are there in the source category. That means after data set, but there is a record in the before category. So for that particular record, you will get it a value as -2 and greater than value. That means your before data set, sorry, your after data set, one of the record is having greater value compared to your before data set. Then you can consider that value as output as 1. Okay, on what basis we are actually doing this comparison is on employee ID basis. Okay, on what you need to compare. I am saying equal, first, greater, everything, but on what you are going to compare, right? That is the key value. Employee ID I am using for the comparison. Using this employee ID, I will be deriving whether the records are equal or one record is missing. That means first is empty or one record is having greater value compared to other and all, we can decide. Less than value means -1. Second empty value means -3. Var non record count mismatch equal to false. That means if the record counts from the source and that particular reference link are different, like from the source you are getting 5 records, from the reference link you are getting some 10 records, there is a record count mismatch. So if you want to have warnings in the directory, you can use this property to true. Okay?
Okay.
Don't worry about the output. We will decipher the output properly. From these settings, from these values, is there anything that you haven't understood?
No. From settings,
okay, one second. It's fine. Okay. What I will do, the output, what are the columns that are being passed? I have given runtime column propagation here. You know the importance of runtime column propagation?
Runtime column propagation.
That means, generally speaking, whatever columns are there in the input, right? If you want to pass it to the output, you need to explicitly map them in the output, right? You need to drag drop to the output, right? One second. So see, there is some records in the input. If I want to have in the output, I have explicitly drag it to the output, right? This is how I need to drag to the output, or I need to map the records to map the columns to the output, right?
Yeah.
So let us say I am not sure, like here there are 3 columns and I have mapped it properly, fine. Let us say I am using schema file. Instead of this columns tab, let us say I am using schema file.
Okay.
Okay, if I am using schema file, what happens? Okay, I don't know, sometimes like extra column might come into picture here. As I'm using schema file, you remember the sequential file stage, right? If I use schema file, I'm not sure like how many columns are going to come during runtime. Okay, let us say some 2 columns has come an extra, but I haven't mapped it to the output, right? Why? Because this mapping can be done during the design time only. But 2 extra columns came during runtime. Now how can I make sure that the extra columns goes to output? There is no way. Though, so there comes the concept of runtime column propagation. If I check mark that runtime column propagation, right? If there is any new columns being created out of the stage or out of the schema file, those columns will automatically be moved to the output. There is no need for the developer to map the columns explicitly during the design time. You understood what I told? Clear?
Yeah.
If I don't use this one, output columns should be mapped from the input during the design time. But let us consider there is a scenario when you click the run button, right? When you click on the run button, schema file will be read. When you click on run button, schema file will be read. So when it starts reading, it came across to new columns. Schema file means it is a file. So at any time you can add extra columns also. So if you have added some extra columns, how come that and my requirement is those 2 columns also should be moved to the target, but you have already clicked the run button. Now again you can't stop the job and you can again drag drop those columns, right? It is not possible. So during design time only you can drag drop. When you run the job and when it have picked the schema file and when it came across 2 new columns, it will not be moved into the target. So in order to counter those scenarios, they have come up with the concept of runtime column propagation. That means if there is any extra columns from the source, those columns would automatically be moved to the target without manual dragging by the developer during the design time itself. There is no need for that. See, after I have check marked this one, have I mentioned anything in the columns tab here? No, but in the output, see, I have got very much proper output in the peak stage.
Because the schema
I haven't mentioned anything in the output, but how come I got all the employee name field, for department number field, I got everything here, right? How come I got it? I haven't mentioned anything in the columns tab here. In the output tab, in the columns tab, I haven't mentioned anything here, but I got the output in the peak stage. How I was able to get it? Because as I have checked this runtime column propagation, whatever columns are being come, those will be moved to the target without my interference. Clear? Somebody asks you what is runtime column propagation, tell them during it is a property which would be set. Okay, if we set that property, there is no need for the developer to manually map the columns from source to the target. Automatically they would be mapped. There is no need for the developer to do it. The benefit that we would get is if during runtime, if we come across extra columns, those columns will automatically be moved to the target. Okay, without any issue.
Okay.
Okay, now interpreting the before now we will interpret what is the output that we got and what is the data that we got. Remember, after means first, before means second. Here we are saying that first, second, right? Here we are using in the peak output, we are actually seeing first. Here we are actually seeing second. First means after. Second means before that txt file. Okay. Clear?
Yep.
Now, 2004, 2005. Okay, I have sorted the data, so that's why you are going to see this one as 1000, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005 here. If you observe in the design, right? I have actually this compare actually sorts the data. Okay. So what happens in the director? In the peak values, you are able to see 1000, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Here in the after and before, actually the order is something like 1000, 1003, 1002, 1004, 1005. But here in the output, you are able to see 1000, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. The reason why it came here is compare automatically sorts the data. Okay. Now what happens? See, first one, for our confusions, for our clearing our confusion, what I will do, I will just put it here. After sorting, this is the data that would be read by the compare stage. This one also is in proper order. Okay, this is in proper order only. Now see, from the this is after means first, right? Employee ID 1000. I have used only one key. Employee ID is the only key that I have used. So 1000 is there. First employee ID 1000 is there, and employee name ABC, salary 1000, first department number is 10. Result is 0. When you get result, that means what is the meaning?
It's the same.
Same. So see, second also you are having 1000, ABC, 1000. All the values are matching here. Okay, that is the reason we got 0. So what is the meaning of 1?
It is not matching.
Here 1 means
greater than value.
Greater than value. Okay. No need to open this after data also. So first record is 1002. Here 1001 came into picture. If you observe, there is a discrepancy. This 1002. 1 second. చెప్పు లేదు బస్ జరుగుతుంది ఇంకొక 15 minutes లో అయిపోతుంది. ఓకే బాయ్. This one is there, right? 1002. This 1002 record is there here, but it haven't identified this 1002 here. You are able to understand what I am saying? This first data is having 1002. I have defined key as employee ID only, right? So his 1002 value is there in the second data as well. but it is not comparing this 1002 with this 1002. Instead, it compared 1002 with 1001, and it felt like it is greater than and gave the result as 1. Okay, you understood what is the problem here? How this compare operates? It is going to sort the data, and after sorting, it is going to compare first record with first record, second record. First column with the first column of the first record. Okay, 1000 would be compared with 1000, 1002 would be compared with 1001, something like that.
Okay.
It is not bothered like this 1002 is there in the third record. No, 1002 of the second record would be compared with the employee ID column of the second record only, and it identified like it is bigger one.
Okay.
Here 1003 came, 1002 it is once again bigger one, so it gave 1. 1004, 1003, 1. Okay, when it came across 1005, there is no corresponding record in the target itself. I mean the reference data itself. So here you will be getting the value of -3. -3 corresponds to see second is empty. You are able to understand, right? In the before data set, there is no record corresponding to 1005. That means here it is considering it as empty. That is the reason you got that output as -3.
Okay.
You are able to understand how I deciphered this thing?
Yeah.
Any doubts in this output?
No.
Clear?
Yes. The only thing is I'm not clear about that -3 there. It's
okay. See, 1005 is coming from the after data set, but there is no corresponding record itself in the reference data set. Why? Because first 4 records from the source got first 4 records from the reference, but fifth record there is no equivalent record in the the reference data. So it considered the fifth record as empty. Okay, once it considered as empty, the second record is empty. We have got this value, right? Second is empty value as -3. That is how we got here the value as -3. It has identified like second record is empty. There is no need to have any operation. Directly it gave the value as -3. That's it.
Okay.
Fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Nita. We are done with this change capture, change apply, difference and compare. Okay?
Okay.
And next class we will start with filters, aggregators, and I will complete the other stages as well. Okay? That means Monday morning.
Yeah.
Fine?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. Okay, Nita, then. Thank you very much. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.